A high school guy goes to his scientist friend Senko and tells her that he finally can't confess his feelings to his crush, but if she says yes, he'll definitely take her to a party. So Taiju thanks her profusely, and Senko gives him a magical potion that will make his crush fall in love with, but Taiju doesn't take it because he wants her true feelings. He asks him about that portion, and he says that actually it was just a gasoline, which he had made by refining plastic, and he was sure that she would not take, after which Tais goes to his cross. And upstairs, Sink's friends see him and start convincing him to refuse her, but Sink is sure that the girl also loves him, so he finally says yes. But before he can finish his line, a strange beam of light, which causes all the people on Earth to suddenly turn into stone, and because it happens suddenly, planes from above fall down and blast. But even after turning to stone, all the people remain alive and are able to think. Many years then pass, and cities turn into forests, and because there are no humans, everything decays and all. The human stones are washed away by water, carried elsewhere, and Taiju Century witnesses this passing. He can feel it, but one day, suddenly inside the cave, Taiju breaks out of his stone-like skin, and when he comes out, he doesn't understand any, and sees that the whole world has changed, and everyone is turned into stone. And then he remembers that the same thing happened to a circumcised boy with a bird who had turned to stone and fallen down. Going a short distance, he reaches the foot where her cross was, and the girl there had also turned to stone. She lives in a way that seeing her makes Taiju very happy, but then he apologizes to her that he couldn't save her, and because of that day, he wasn't able to finish what he wanted to say. So today in front of her, he expresses his feelings. Just then, he notices written on that foot that, "Follow the river," and when he follows it, he sees Senku there, who has returned to being human like him. As soon as he sees him, he goes to hug. Then he tells him that today is October 5th, and that they are in the year 5748, and Senak has been alive here alone for 6 months. So he asks Tajo, how does he know what day it is today? Did he find some calendar? Then he says that actually he was counting every sec because that was the only thing he could do after becoming a stone. After that, he brings him to his home, which makes Taizu astonished. When he goes, Senk says that he will bring humans back to life, and because he needs human force to work, he knew that his friend Taiju would be alive because of his feelings. After that, the two of them work together, where Senk handles the brain work and Taiju the physical tasks, and he wants to bring humans from the Stone Age to the modern age in only a few months or years, instead of the 2 million years it actually took, and he vows that he will. He is determined to find out how all this happened and to save humans from this curse, and for that, he becomes very excited. After that, he separates the safe mushrooms and begins to eat, where Senak has even made salt from seawater, and after Taiju returns to his work, and during this he sees a man's stone that he had seen on TV, which is very strong, after which he goes to the same cave from which the bus had come out, and there he sees a pot in which it's very strong, after which he goes to the same cave where he had come out. There, he sees a pot where seeing water collecting, he thinks that maybe there will be more people, but actually that job belongs to Senak, and then he tells him about that water, that this is their miracle fluid with which those people were brought back to life, which is actually old nitric acid, after which he pours that acid onto a bird to see what happens, where nothing occurs. Then Tais goes into his house and sees that he has gathered and stored many pieces of brick, after which he begins to explain some science to him, that he needs nethol, which will require alcohol to make. So upon hearing this, Tais shows him some berries he had found, and because alcohol is made from them, this will do the job for him, after which the two of them begin to mix them with kushalan. Thus, 3 weeks pass, and now the two of them try it, which isn't so bad, and then Sinak tries to make it in the old style, where he fails, after which the two of them again begin trying things in this way. Months pass where Taiju grows a full beard, but they both clean it off and continue like that for days. After trying, finally one day their fluid works, and to see it, he takes a bird outside to test it, and as soon as they pour the fluid on it, the bird cracks its stone skin and comes back to life. So finally, after so much effort, their experiment is successful, and Taiju asks him. He asks whom he should wake up first, and Senko answers that he will wake them up one by one, but he must do it carefully because he might accidentally wake up some bloodthirst person, and Senko asks Taizu whom he would like to wake first. Upon hearing this, he goes off to wake his crush, where Senko says he had also tried on a roasted stone, but it turned out to be part dead. Just as he is about to pour fluid on it, Taizu notices that it should be a neck, so Q rips out the eyes, but Senku says it's an experiment, so he wants to see, while Taiju does not. When Senku wants to see his cross up close, Taiju gets up to take him, and just then the Lion King appears. So the two of them start running with him, because animals rule this world, and right now the king here is the lion. So to escape it, the two of them jump down from a ravine where they somehow survive, but the lion and his party don't stop pursuing. So Taiju decides that he will sacrifice himself, but Sanak explains that he needs him, so the two of them then start running again. And because they cannot escape from them, Taiju plans that they will wake the man he had seen earlier and who is very strong. So Senku pours fluid over him, and Linz also takes care of. Just then the man wakes up, and upon waking asks what the situation is. So Senku tells him him that his entire area is surrounded by stones and there are many lions in front. Then, as soon as he wakes up, he punches the Lion King, which causes the other lions to run away. And that man says he doesn't know what's happening, but because he saved him, from now on, he'll be responsible for all these things. If he slips up, Tajo gets quite happy, but Sen gets a bit worried because that guy is a little too much. If Strong killed Lion King with that single strike, then both of them are nothing before him, and perhaps even Tazu's cross couldn't match him. If she gets impressed, she becomes troubled by it, but the guy isn't that bad, and because he delivered that line, he wants to perform her last rites, after which Tajo brings his cross to the base, and here he gives his name, Suka, like CCO, and now that he has joined them, they no longer need to worry about food, because the guy is Super Tarjan, who is the fastest, not only in the jungle, but also in the sea, after which some fish begin to smoke, when suddenly a dry stone breaks open, because inside it is a human stone, and after that, they eat all the fish. After eating, Sinak asks them what they think will be needed next to carry civilization forward, so Taiju says a smartphone, but that's the wrong answer, because there is no person, so whom would it call? Then, Sukacha says iron ore, that's important, but even more important to explain calcium carbonate, and Taizo he says that this is the thing which is used to make lines in sports film, and that it can make a lot of C-cell for Sen, so Taizo starts to collect them quick, after which he can make 4K powder out of it, and then tells Sen what it's used. They can use it in farming, and in construction too, like they can burn it with Sen to make molds and build houses. They can also mix it with C to make soap, because there will be many germs in this world, so they will need it to keep their hands clean. And seeing all this, Suka is quite impressed and says that he has won his respect, but Sink still suspects him, so he asks that when a person praises someone, there is often some other motive. So what is his motive? He answers, nothing. He was just thinking about bringing someone back to life. If he can, then he is the one. Only then does Taiju come and ask Senk what his other job is, because he had said that his essence is work. And then he says that he had only mentioned 3, so Taiju accepts it. After this, when everyone is asleep, Senk goes alone and begins to make some. Then the next day, Taiju and Suka set about their work, but here, in front of the sea, Suka tells Senk that one day a poor boy was collecting shells on the seashore for his sick sister so that she could. He was able to make a necklace for his sister, but then a man came and struck the one who used to turn on the grinder to hold the dough, who accused him of stealing from him. After that, he beat him severely, which is why he could never give it to his sister. Angry about this, he removes the head of a stone, and then Sanak says, "You know what you just did," to which he replies, "Yes, I know," and adds, "I told you so," that he wants to bring all humans back to life, but would he want to bring back those who are very evil? Because those people, as soon as they come, will start doing their bad deeds again, and he does not want those people to make this world like it was before. He wants him to bring back into this world only those people who are good, so that everyone in this world remains safe, and this is the chance to do it. He is about to break a stone by telling Sinak this, and then Sinak cries out telling him that he liked the speech, but that's not it. He wants to resurrect everyone in the world with his gift, and because of this, Senak hid that fluid, but just then, Taiju comes and loudly starts saying this right in front of him, that he found a lot of miracle fluid inside that cave. So Suka asks dryly what that is, and Senak says he's lucky because he will be able to witness a miracle with his own eyes, but then he says they don't even have fluid for one person. If he has it, he'll want more. So Taiju sets out to retrieve when Sakasa stops him and says that he's fast, so he'll go. In fact, Sen knew that he wouldn't be able to stop himself, because after he chases him down, he'll make him his and stop Senk's plane, which he knows. And after that, Senk quickly begins to build it. Then Suka's cafe is found, but none of this makes any sense to Taiju, so he begins to ask what all this is about, and Senk tells him to get away from him. He wanted to do it because he knows that this guy will only bring back those from this world who are very strong. Taiju understands and says that he has full faith in whatever he does will be right. So Senku says that Suka is a very strong guy, but he is a murderer. After that, when Taiju goes out to pour fluid on his crush, he is very late. So then Senku comes and quickly pours it himself, but nothing happens, and Taiju begins to get worried. So he explains that it will take him a little time, but Taiju doesn't understand anything. Then he sees that the stone-like skin of hers has slowly begun to crack, after which she finally comes back to life, and as she revives, she thanks Taiju for saving, and then he says that it was actually Senku who did all this. Senku says they don't have time for all this right, and that they must do something before that idiot arrives, and they only have 2 options. First, the 2 of them flee the place and go somewhere else. Second, they all together try to stop him from completing his mission. Then Taiju says that of course he will stay with him, and at that moment Tsukasa arrives and says that he is not killing, he is preventing them from being alive. Are they different? Then Taiju, without thinking, attacks him, but this guy has struck Lion in 1 blow, and just then he pulls out an X-bone and attacks him, which Tsukasa dodges and then kicks Taiju, blowing him away, and he is impressed seeing this. He notices that this Taizu is still standing even after taking his kick, but he observed that he didn't attack, so Taizu says that he doesn't attack anyone, but he can beat him as much as he wants. Then he asks if he he is saying that he can beat him as much as he wants so that he doesn't break those stones, then he says yes, he was right, but he doesn't understand any of this, why he is doing all this. But then he says that if he killed that girl, so then he comes and stands in front of him, but just then he suddenly faints, so Suka looks at him blankly and says maybe instead of fighting him, he should cart his girlfriend away, and now he will let those people book whatever they want and he will do as he pleases. Saying this, he walks away, and only after he leaves, Senk revives Taiju. When he follows after him again, Senk stops him and says he cannot beat him with strength alone. They will have to defeat him with weapons, after which they decide that he will make a weapon for which they will have to travel very far. Then they all reach a high place, where Shin takes out a device, looks into it, and tells them how long the day will last. But at that moment, Yuzuya suddenly feels something, so she starts running, and the two of them start running after. After going some distance, they find a statue of a Buddha, which, by looking at it, they can determine the exact location. And on seeing it, Yuzreha starts crying, cuz seeing him reminds her of her childhood, and she also remembers her mom and dad. But then Taiju says that Bud used to think that if they found him hearing this. Sunak says that yes, that's because he is made of bronze, which is why he has remained intact to this day. Then Taiju says that there aren't even any feet around, and that's so they can easily spit it. But Senak says that yes, that's because there are copper ions around, because of which no plants grow nearby. Just then, Sunak, an idea comes to him that he can use it, so he starts breaking the same thing, after which they start walking again. And when night falls, they camp under one leg, so the next day they begin to go through this river, when Taiju sees that Yuja's leg is still a little bit stone-like. So after that, he pours a little fluid on it from the side and breaks it too, which also relieves Yuja's pain. Then Senku explains to them that even after there are crack marks on those people's faces, if people are still alive, that fluid might heal parts of their bodies afterwards. They all start walking again, and Suka comes to their base and sees that those people aren't here, but he knows that Senk will just leave them like this. Here, they find a hot spring on top of a mountain where Senk says that they are going to make gunpowder, but Suka also finds out Senk's plan, because this is the only way people can stop it, and Senk can do this. And because that place is full of volcanic rock, they will find the main gunpowder components. After that, when Taizu and Yujiya start bathing together in the hot spring, Yujuria asks him if he wanted to ask something that Taizu says yes, but he still doesn't tell her this, because the situation is different now, and they need to work together to bring human civilization back. So when they fix all this, he will do it. Then when he tells her this, Jazia somewhat disputes and says yes, she can understand. Then Senko brings all the things, and now they just have to mix them. After that, he brings up a little talk about chemicals, and brings a miracle fluid that they have to combine, and now they will have to throw it. So Taj, to help, picks up a stone. Seeing this, Ujaria says that it will catch fire, but Senk says that nothing will happen because that rock came from a volcano, so it doesn't produce sparks. But Senk forgets that rock also contains iron, and when he slams that rock hard, the fire catches, and there is an explosion that starts producing black smoke. Then Senk says it's okay, meaning that their experiment was successful. So then Yuzia asks if he will use it against Suka, and he says no. He would deal with it because that guy isn't a fool, right? When he used to ask Tajo that he could kill him so he wouldn't chip the stone, he didn't understand that. So it means he could negotiate, and because they would have gunpowder, that would make them stronger than him. And this Suksa starts to smoke them out, and he thinks that Senk must have already made gunpowder, so it means he will have to kill him because of the smoke. Is quite sure that the dry wind will blow them away. But just then Ujiya looks to the other side, amazed, after which both of let's see if someone is sending a smoke signal from there. That can't be Sakasa because he's on the opposite side, and he isn't. If it can't be a forest fire, then maybe it must be something else. After that, when the two of them talk about putting out the fire, Sinek says, wait, those people are in the volcano's mountains, so maybe they're thinking this happened naturally, so they will have to signal, but that will also give Suksa their location, so Sinak will have to be ready for that. So now he needs to decide whether he will listen to safety or to future. He decides to set the fire, so he burns all the gunpowder and tells them to bring both of them and to bring some more things to burn. But at that moment, Suksa reaches, and when Ujiya starts doing some things alone, he comes up behind her, grabs her, and takes her to Senak as a hostage. When he leaves, then he says that because of this one seed, he is no longer the strongest man on Earth. If not, then he says that yes, he was right, because if he made him, then everything will start again. So he will have to kill Senak. But Senak says that he doesn't care what he does to that girl, because he only sees things as logical and illogical. He keeps watching, but seems to have already cut Yuzia's hair and varnished, because he knows that he's throwing it away, since if he didn't care so much about Yuzi, he would have just cut it off and buried it in the soil so she couldn't smoke it. And if he can think this, it means this plan must have occurred to him too, which means he needs them, and he knows she cares, but he has no one to care for, so he has won. When suddenly Yuzia laughs and says, thank you for giving it a new twist, after which she takes Sakasa's weapon to her own neck and tells Senak not to give her the miracle fluid because it's useless, and that unless Senak tells her the recipe, she won't kill him and he will have to stay alive. Hearing this, this, Senak becomes distressed, but then he tells her the recipe and that it is made with nitric acid and alcohol. Nitric acid she will find in that cafe, and the alcohol she should make as much as she can. Make it, then you'll have to blend it into the 370 part and give it that miracle fluid. He will get it. Then Tsukasa says dryly, now there is no need for him to live anymore. And here Tajo sees that three signals are coming. But here Tsukasa gets ready to kill Sanak and asks him he will let him live if he promises that he will not restore civilization to the way it was before. And he knows is that he will not spout nonsense in the name of science. That's why we look to Sankok, where he developed an interest in science from childhood, and his Tate also gave him full support, for which he even sold his car and bought the science materials. And as soon as he got all this, he began experimenting on everything, and one after another started making gadgets. And while doing this, he also found Taizu, and during this time he had even begun building a rocket because his dream was to go to space. And one day Tajo was also released for use, who had made some dolls for them, after which they all went together into a mountain to launch a rocket, which went very high up, but then it exploded up there, yet their dolls had settled. In the present, Suka feels dry again. When asked to promise, he says he will not, and upon hearing this, Suka says that he knew, and Senak here slightly twists his neck and says that he will go, that he will kill him with a single blow because making him travel is not a logical thing. So then he says there is no need to hesitate. He will simply break the limit of his throat so that he won't feel anything, after which he tells him that if he had met him before all of this happened, maybe he would have been his first real friend. But as soon as he says this, he kills him. Taiju also comes here, and instead of killing that guy, he goes after Senk. He starts talking to the dead body, but then it becomes angry, something he can sense vague, and he can't bring himself to kill it either. He wants, so he picks up a stone and throws it up, which is so dry it doesn't understand any. Whose Yujia runs toward, throws the gunpowder, and as the stone falls to the ground, there is a huge blast, but no one is hurt. It doesn't inhabit. Especially Tsukasa takes off with Taiju and Yuzia Sink, where Taiju believes that Sink must still be alive. Rain starts, and here Tsukasa thinks that he is sure. He has simply severed his throat, so in this situation he cannot be alive. Or Taiju starts to strangle him, after which he even thinks about not giving him a chance to live. But then Yujuria says that she sacrificed herself for him, after which Taiju remembers a psychology book where they had the option that if they received shuns, whom would they save? Their friend, their lover, or themselves? Taiju was troubled then, but Senku had said he would save everyone, so recalling that, he is sure Senku must have planned something. And just then, Yuzuriha remembers that she has something around her neck, was doing something, and hearing this, Tajo also remembers that yes, he was doing that, and this is not one of his old habits. Then, when both of them look at his bullet, then they see that there is a small stone in his throat, and Senk had said that when their stone is fixed by putting flow into it, it heals that part. So upon hearing this, Uj removes the remaining fluid, and Tajo pours it over, hoping that he will come back to life, after which the stone becomes Tuch. He and Taiju began shouting loudly that he knew he was alive, but nothing happened. And then we see nearby, when Senku came back to life, and as soon as he revived, he started experimenting again, and the monkeys, seeing his hairless skin, ran away from him in fear, after which he calculated the exact date of that day, and tried to set a fire. But because he is only mentally strong, he couldn't do it. So after that, he started everything one by one. It seems he picks up a stone and begins to break it, and after that he makes his first weapon. Then he uses Kushpara to bind it to wood and spins it, finally starts a fire. But after that, he has to live only on special roots, because he cannot run with the animals. So he uses his brain and sets traps, and as he continues doing that, he even makes clothes and a house for himself, which, seeing, all the monkeys are astonished. He gets tired of doing all this alone, so after that, he goes to pick up his friend Taju, who is right there, where Senku had woken up, after which he starts thinking that maybe someone did this, or it happened because of some country's secret experiment. But how did he wake up? Just then, he sees that where his stone self had begun to crack, all those things are no longer there, and those things are down below. It has fallen, meaning something above did this, and that's why he sees a cave in front of him. He looks at it and thinks there must be something. He goes inside and looks for the source of the nitric acid, and because there's still a little bit of rock left behind his throat, he chips it a bit and drops in that thing, which after a while breaks. So then he wraps it up, places it on Taju, but when nothing happens, he starts putting it on other people to watch, so that this one works, after which he begins to wonder how that one is still alive, because he always, inside the mind, he was thinking, and for that he needed energy. So where was the one with the energy getting it from? It was then that Einstein's theory A, remembering equal to mc squared, thought that maybe he was using the stone's energy itself. So he began to watch it, that he wonders what that thing could possibly be. So he starts experimenting with just like that, and while experimenting, he builds a lab for himself. One day he writes Einstein's theory on his clothes itself, and because he needs help, he takes Taju into that cave and says that he will have to wake up because he can't do all this without him. And even in the present, the same thing. Taju tells him, after which the rain stops, and then Senak says that now he has to. They should lower their voices because such a Suksa might hear them. So then they both quickly become alert, but then he notices that Senk has come back to life. life. And without saying anything to explain his plan to them, Senk thanks them for understanding, and they both welcome him back in their own styles. Then Taiju says that he thought he was petrified, but Falak asks who petrified humans and why. If they light it, maybe that person will get better again. But hearing this, Senak says he had tried this before and it didn't work, so there must be some reason. But then he gets an idea and whispers something in his ear that makes Yajli a little worried. Seeing her, Taiju asks what they are talking about, and Yuju says that why don't the two of them keep a close watch, which also makes Taiju lose his mind a bit. But then Sinak tells him because he thinks him dead, he can stay in his empire and become his spy. What should Yuji do? She has been told everything, so Taizu's mission will be to symbolize him. Taizu agrees to this. Then Senk says that Tsukasa is going to build an army of very capable people for himself, so to stop him, they will have to use science to create even more powerful things. But they both ask that if Volo and the others leave, he will be alone. So can he do all this by himself? And he doesn't even have that miracle fluid. So then he replies that he will actually go and find the people who smoke. He had made a gesture and he would include him in his team, but he was concerned that they might not go in the right direction first, and then they go their separate ways. As they leave, Taiju wonders how long it will be before he can see Senku again. Just then, he comes back and tries to say something to her, but because he can't speak like that, he signals to her, so she does too. He decides, holding the flag given by Yuja, that he doesn't know how long they will have to stay apart, but he will keep building his kingdom of sciences. And while Tsukasa is walking alone, he notices something, asks who it is. Then, a beautiful girl comes out carrying flowers. Seeing her, Tsukasa thinks that Kei Senak has revived her too, but she could have come from somewhere else as well. The girl then attacks him outright, but for Tsukasa she is nothing. Then he gets a little impressed seeing her skill, after which she says that she had seen everything about how he had made that girl his hostess, for whose rescue one person had sacrificed himself and he had killed her. And she attacks him back, but this time he just disarms her with 2 fingers and begins to think that if these people are tribal, then he can easily rule over them. But for now he is in that cave. He has to go quickly because Yuzia and Taizu know how to make Ganpadur, so he'll have to get there before them. So he gives her a blow and throws her far away, after which he breaks off just one of her legs. Sun sees all this from above, then rushes there, and the girl is still alive under the leg. And when she sees him, she recognizes him and is a little surprised that she's still alive. After which Shin tries to save. He tries to try, but he doesn't have enough strength, so he asks her if she can stay with him until tonight. There is a little gunpowder with which he can blow off that leg, so the girl says that yes, it's okay, and she can stay until tonight. So Senak cuts off that leg, and after doing a little calculation, puts some tuber powder inside and burns it to make a hole, and into that hole he puts some bamboo, after which he makes a long rope and rubs soap on. He hangs it on the leg itself, and when the girl sees it, she asks what all this is, to which he replies that this is science. That which once a scientist used, with which even a skinny fellow like him could lift that big leg being talked about. He lifts it up, which makes the girl astonished, and she says, "What's this?" The way he works to solve something, it's quite amazing. Then she says her name is Koha, and says that she begins to like. Sase is a bit happy to hear, but Kuha tells her that she is not saying she has fallen in love with him. She is saying that she liked the way he works, so maybe they can work together. After which, at night, Koha takes weapons and goes to sleep with. Until then, Sink asks her what on earth this is, and she replies that they have still met, so she cannot completely torment him. After which, she asks if he is going to fight that long-haired guy, then Senko. He answers yes, but says he will need people for it. So Koha tells him that if he needs people, they should come with him, because she has some people who might be of use to him. As morning comes, Koha brings some hot water from the hot spring, and says she is taking him because this brings healing. Then Senko asks why that one. Go, because she is like a lion. Hearing this, he gets angry and says that this is for his sister, because she is very. He has been sick since morning, but seeing him, Sen asks if he doesn't think that in that plant, so much water will be thrown that it could fill a whole pot. Then she would have to come here repeatedly. Then she says yes, and there's no need to worry, because she has been doing all this. After which, when she is about to fall, that's when Sun catches her and says that just yesterday a foot fell on him, so she should be more careful. He says if he shouldn't work, then give the pot to him, but as soon as he takes it, he can't handle it because it's very heavy for him. But a sink is a sink, so he makes an F1 car. When Cuckoo asks him how he made it so quick, he says he used yesterday's things to build it, but after some time the F1 car goes away. But Kuhak saves the water and then the sink. He looks at that village where there are many people and asks Senko how many people live there, and then she says that at least 40 people live there, and seeing them, he can say that those people have been living there for years, so that means someone must have already revived them early, but those people don't seem so advanced, so where would all these people have come from? As soon as Sin reaches the gate, 2 people attack. Koha stops him and says that he saved her yesterday. She says it's not necessary, but the 2 say that according to the rules, he cannot bring anyone into their village, so this. Hearing this, Koha tells him that they have no other way now, and that he will have to fight. Hearing this, the 2 are a little frightened. Then Sun takes some soap and water and makes bubbles, which the 2 cannot understand at all what it is. He sees it, and understands their level, but he decides that he will make them advanced soon. Then someone says that now they have only one option left. They will have to pin this on someone else. Just then, a man arrives who says he is the genius from their village, whom Koha points to and says, "This is the very man I was talking." After which the man tells them that it is not a dangerous thing, making it is very easy, but both of them say that they have no need for it. No, both of them can handle it, but that guy doesn't listen to them and says that Sarsari is his seizure, so let him handle it. After which, the two of them step aside. Then he lights a fire and puts something in it to make the flames different colors. Seeing that, everyone else is shocked, but Sinku can't understand anything. Why is he showing that so simple a thing to him? After that, he grabs him to see what he's using, and when he hears it, the guy loses consciousness. How would he have known that? After which, he says he'll go to his lab to get something that will knock him out, and then he pulls out a ball, rubs it, and with one hand gives it an electric shock to the side. But Naku sees it and understands that it's a sulfur ball made from the very things he was burning in the fire. He just put it in a pot, shaped it like this, and from it he can generate a sulfur-based device that can many. It was made years ago. After which, he takes off his clothes and rips them, giving a very powerful electric shock. Then when he gives that seat to the others, their hair also stand on end. After which he adds more things to his lab, gets excited to see it because what he has done is quite impressive, and then he goes up to him. Whoever says that the kind of person he is would definitely kill him should join his kingdom of science. But he doesn't know who this Suka is, and when he starts climbing into his lap, he challenges him. If Pujta, then he will leave their village, and if he loses, he can take all his things. Winning against Senko in the science battle, brother, sir, is impossible. After which he loses, and they both are very impressed seeing his things. But the others don't understand any of this, so he starts using those things to make his own things. After which, he becomes a kind of spear. He takes it and makes a golden spear out of it, but she shows that she is not impressed and says she will not let him in. But deep down, he is very happy, after which he leaves. Then Sunko sees that he also has some plans. That can be used as a medicine, but Chrome says that yes, he has that, although he doesn't know what it does. He had tried it on himself, but he doesn't know if it will work on someone else or not. And in fact, he had only glanced at Sarasri for one reason, after which Kuha takes that water for his sister, which two people are protected. Even if she will be the queen there, she asks him to let her talk to him alone. And his sister, seeing her hair, understands that something has happened to her, but then she starts coughing, which she tells her to take care. And then Chrome Senk asks here if he can save. He then says that it depends on his condition, after which he tells Chrome everything that happened there, how advanced human civilization was, how they made plans and went to the moon. But one day, everything suddenly turned to stone, and it all started again, which makes Crow start crying and ask who turned them to stone. He'll kill them, but Sunak says that it's not over yet, because all the information that humans had discovered that he was in his mind, and he was also in his mind. So this, on hearing that, Chrome joins him because he is the only person who can understand Senk. So then Senk decides that both will make the medicine together, but the villagers are very angry about Senk coming, especially Kohaku's father. They start planning here how they can protect him, and they can't even test his blood, so they are if they have to do this work, Kuha and Chrome get more excited, after which Senko tells them about two types of materials. He says one they will get from non-livings, and the other they will get from livings, but Kuha doesn't understand any. Then he tells them about doing experiments for which he is confident that he can do it. Chrome says, let's do it, but Sen tells them they will have to do it one by one, after which he puts them into a row. He makes it and tells him to do it, which Kuha doesn't understand at all, but Chrome gets very excited, after which at night, Sink tells them a little about astronomy, where Chrome is quite impressed to hear that the Earth actually rotates, not the stars, after which Chrome shows Sink a magnet to impress him, which he already knows. So, finding this, he becomes very happy, and then the next day, the three of them go off to find even more magnets. But to do this, it will take them a very long time. So Chrome asks if she should call someone for help, but Kuako says she doesn't think anyone will come to help them because everyone in the village doesn't trust Senk. Just then, Senk sees something like a watermelon-shaped seam coming toward, which is actually a little girl named Suika, who has in fact followed them, and she also helps them because she is going to be of some use. So Senk says he will accept her help because every bit of help is good for science. He's glad they met, and because she sleeps, she can spit on the magnets better than them. Hearing this, the needle is very happy. She goes and soon starts spitting on the stone, and then Chrome tells her that she's not some wax wire. Hearing this, Senko is a bit surprised and asks how she knows about wax wires, and he becomes even more surprised to hear that she also knows about the gorilla, which in fact is not found in Japan at all. So he asks how she knows about it, and then Chrome replies that these are all the animals that Momota befriended with the help of her dumplings. Perhaps their Momo has a slightly different story, after which Kuhaku says that her sister told her many such stories. Hearing this, Senk says it seems she might know something, so now Senk is getting interested. Hearing this, Chrome becomes a bit uneasy, and at that moment, Kuha says that actually Chrome is on her. As soon as he finds out that it carries a cross, he confronts both of them, after which he starts bringing it and trying to measure it, but now he'll have to mold them, for which he'll need much much higher temperatures. Then Shinak will make an oven, give everyone some things to burn below. But even after this device exists, they don't get enough power. During this, seeing them, Jiner tells Kinar to help him, but Kinar refuses. So he says that yes, it's easy for him to say that because he has the golden spear. So he says it's not like that. And then he talks about changing the spear where Kinro refuses to give it to him. And here, even after blowing all night, they strangle him. If they can't find them, those people think about bringing the villagers to help them. But for that, they have to give them that. If the villagers want it, Suika will act in the country's interest and find out about it because she is. They tell her that if she can turn things into honey, they will give her all that work. So Suika happily goes into the village to find out. And she begins listening to what all the villagers have to say, where everyone has different opinions about Sana. Then at night, Suika comes to him and tells him about the most beautiful girls of their village, what they want. And the three of them have different thoughts about Sing. But Cuckoo says he is neither handsome nor strong. So maybe his plan won't work. This makes Chrome a little angry, thinking about how girls become arrogant as soon as they get a little pretty. He starts to laugh when he hears that. He's saying this because he's average looking. After that, when Sui tells him about a child who got bored from eating fish, an idea suddenly comes to him and he thanks Suika for the information and then decides that he'll make some food for the villagers. But both of them ask since when eating became a science, and he says that food is actually a kind of science itself. Then Suika sees her playing with something along with her dak. Seeing it, he asks what it is, and she says it is foxel. So then Sink says he can make a good dish with. The next day, they all go to get it. After bringing it, he starts tossing, and then he puts it in water, kneads it into a powder, and on it, he mixes the blind person and a little potassium carbonate with everything. After which he puts chicken and fish on the other side of the knife and starts cooking, which smells quite good. And finally, Sen makes the first ramen in thousands of years, for which everyone is a little agitated to eat. But Chrome is excited to try it, and as soon as he eats it, he is quite impressed. And seeing him, the others also try it, and as they try it, people can't stop themselves. They don't get it. But when Senko tries it, he doesn't like it at all. Yet he can see that other people find this design very enjoyable because they actually don't know how real Ravan behaves. After which, he opens a ramen sofa where Senko thinks that with this, he could rule their village. And then all the villagers come and try it, and they, like the others, like ramen very much. But here, Kinro Jiner doesn't let him try because he thinks it's just a trick. But because Kinro has the golden spear, he takes it and says he'll try it. They both start fighting, but in the middle of their fight, she stops them and says that there is a problem. Then a man comes who everyone takes as harmless and asks who he is. But he says that they misunderstand he is their stone. He has been wandering alone since breaking the coffin when Sena recognizes him because he had read his book in his time, but he had never met him until today. And he was a magician who wrote books on psychology. So he says that he is not a magician, but a medalist, and he lets them lower their weapons because he is very scared. Kinaro gets caught in this trap, and hearing his words, Koha thinks how much nonsense he talks. And then Senku says that he can try his ramen, but for that, he'll have to do something, after which he puts him to work where everyone starts working by swapping places. And just then, Sinak comes and asks him how Suka is these days, to which he says that he mentally cannot trick him, but yes, Suka is still as strong as he used to be. And hearing this, Ka comes up to them and asks if he had beaten him. Then he tells him to wait a little and asks him about why are you saying that? Then he answers him that it's because he knows it's time to change sides now. So the next morning, he gives Iron a good neck hug, and in the meantime, mentally tells him that his only job was to confirm Chinak's death, and that if he reveals he's still alive, he'll come to kill him. But if he can make Iron in this world, he can do anything. So he decides not to tell him. So Shanak, he says that's fine, and he says that whatever happens, he will be on the winning side because he doesn't consider anyone else's as someone else's. After that, the two start talking about the advantages. On one hand, he will get a chance to make something with the Sang, but on the other hand, with the help of the miracle fluid, he will get a lot of girls. So he tells the girl to listen, and then Kuha says why not just kill him right here? But Sink stops her because if he doesn't go back, then Suka will take him to Thun's place. He will let him see what he will do with that iron, because if he sees it, then he is sure that he will come towards him. Then he asks whether he is going to make that short. He says no, he is going to make a generator. Hearing this, he is astonished, and they also have copper, and now they need a light. As soon as he says this, it starts to rain, which makes everyone excited. But Sink says that their situation is not yet such that they can use it, but he wants to use lightning to make a mag because natural magnets are very weak, but he also cannot let this opportunity pass. So everyone quickly gets to work, after which he melts the copper and turns it into wire and begins to wrap it around the iron. But here, a child sees them doing this and starts saying that they are planning to destroy the village. Just then, a man overhears this and thinks about teaching them a lesson as he comes toward, are then looked at by Sin, who says that they cannot fight with him now. So this looks at the mental disorder that he will take care of it, for which Po Suika asks him to bring some flowers. Then he tells her to stop and says that she will get electric shock. Thinking about stopping, upon hearing this, he doesn't understand anything. Then he shows him some magic tricks works to make him understand. It shows that when they see it, all their hobbies disappear and they go back believing his words. After which, he starts work. Then, those people go to an empty mountain where there's a higher chance of lightning strike. And when Kinro and Jinar see them, they also come. Just then, the lightning started coming even closer and they needed something they could stick right there. That's when Kuha, he looks at Kanaro's spear, which he doesn't want to give, but Kuha plants the same scene on him. And as soon as he moves, he suddenly a lightning strikes there. After which, he goes and hits him. And at exactly that moment, the rain stops. But then Kinro comes and sees that his spear has now turned to ashes, which makes him very sad. After that, when Koha tries to bring the two irons together and they don't come, she says maybe they couldn't make a magnet. So Sync turns it the other way. As soon as he does, they stick together. And seeing this, Asagiri asks him which type of generator he is going to make with, and he replies that he'll make a manpower one. After which, they all turn back to the copper. He melts it, flattens it, and shapes it into a round form. After which, Chrome gives them a stone that is the strongest after diamond. So he completely rounds the copper plane. And then they all together make a generator, but they will have to spin it together. And who will be able to do this all at once? Only then they remember Kinro and Jinar, and they go to call them, for which Kinro refuses. So Asagiri persuades him with his words. He leaves and says that with its help, they could even recreate the golden spear. Hearing this, the two of them excitedly get to work. After which, Senk Asagiri shows a wire in a leaf to some, then takes it over his lap and begins telling Chrome how in their world it was never night, and that he is going to do it again. And after 3,700 years, Senk once again makes the first lion, which Asha sees and is amazed. Giri and the others are surprised, after which they all begin telling Suvika about Sukasa, what kind of person is, and now Asha depends on Giri to decide whether she will tell Sukasa this or not. Hearing this, Chrome tries to persuade him that they might be more interested, but Asagiri doesn't care about any of this because he only thinks about himself. After which, we look into Asagiri's past when he was revived for the first time, and it was Sukasa who had taken him in. He had revived him for work, after which he tells him about his current condition and makes Sync burn him and confirm whether he is alive or not. And because he wants to revive everyone in this world, he wants to kill him for that. But here in the present, suddenly someone comes and attacks Ag, and by the time everyone else comes to see him, his condition is very bad. But they see that around him some fake blood-like substances are scattered, meaning this is a trick. It was because he is a magician, but they didn't know who those people were. So the needle is used on him, and this is Sinak. He starts to heal him. Then early in the morning, Suka comes and tells them that he was actually magma, so he wants to kill him and make both Cook and his sister his own. So then Sinak asks what the problem with him is, and then Cook tells him that actually, in their village, there is a traditional Dullah who will get the ruler's daughter, and because he will become the new ruler, Makma wants to fight everyone, his sister and the throne both, and to obtain them. And the first time there was a fight, Makma had begun to win, and because Ruri is a little ill, he looks at her and thinks that since she has only a few years left, he will kill her and bring someone else to take her place. And when Kuha hears this, she attacks him, defeats him, and tells him she will never let him win. So now the others are starting to wonder what will happen next. Will Koha marry her sister? But if that doesn't happen, then they will have to fight again. Seeing this Kuha's keenness, he had become angry at it, and now because the fight is about to start again, he tried to remove the obstacles in his path to try to kill Ashagiri, and he cannot let Megma win, because if that happens, it will become very difficult for them to treat Ruri. But this is one breath, because if a member of the science gang wins, it will be easier for them to treat. So then he goes to Kinro and Gino and asks them if they want Ruri to become their wife. Hearing this, both get excited, but Kinro understands his plan and says that he has seen that Sen is a good man. So when she lets him tell the truth, Kuha then says that she will go save her older sister. Hearing this, the two agree and begin training with Kuku. And when Krom becomes a little worried, he sees him and tells him to come train him too. And at that moment, we see about his childhood an illness had begun. So he had promised him that he would get him cured. So they agree that he will do whatever it takes to win. But here Ashagiri is not feeling well, and if he remains like this, he will be left feeling dried up and withered. But later that night, he tells Senak some, after which early in the morning, Chrome sees that Ashagiri is not there. And here Ashagiri quickly runs towards Suka, and upon reaching here, he tells Suka that some villagers attacked him, after which he somehow managed to get to the bus. And yes, he found out about Sen here when Haku goes after him, and Totsink stops her saying he knows she's headed their way because she saw him make it electric, and that he actually asked her that night if she could make a Coca-Cola for him, to which Sanak replied yes, and that no one else could make it besides him. And Ashagiri comes here and says that he couldn't find a single trace of Singh, and by the time he arrived here, Sanak decided that he will make a Coca-Cola for him and keep it ready here when Koha comes to both brothers. They start training together, and during that time, Senko decides that they will hold classes, but Chrome asks, what about them? Medicine should be made because now they even have electric. So he replies to Sin that yes, but you will need goggles to do experiments because working in chemistry without them is very difficult. And when people make glasses, they'll finally be able to see Suvika's face too, right? right? He quickly jumps off the bus to meet her, and Kuha runs over to them excitedly when she sees Suvika's cuteness. She gets impressed, but then quickly spoils her mood herself, after which she says that there is something wrong with her eyes. There's a problem because of which she can't see properly, and that's why she wears them. So then Senko talks about glasses, and Chrome asks if everything is connected. Then Senk says, brother, it's 10 billion persons are connected. After that, he comes to him and says that this is not a disease, because in their time, this problem was common and could be easily fixed. They would just need glasses. Hearing this, Suka becomes very happy and says that she wants to go, that she would like to see how beautiful this world is. Hearing this, everyone becomes motivated. After that, they go off to gather materials for her, and because Chrome has a habit of collecting things, he takes them to a place where they will find crystal items. As soon as they arrive, Sen starts to dig where they find scent, what he gets that are used to make glasses. He quickly starts collecting all of them, after which he brings them and turns them into powder and mixes them with some other things and sets them on fire. After which finally, after a day's work, they make the glasses. After which Crom and Senk give the glass the correct shape, and here Kook continues to train the others. After which the next day, Crom and Senk take Suka to a place. He takes her there and puts a watermelon on her head where she sees the beauty of a sunflower for the first time, and she falls completely silent because for the first time she is able to see the world in the way that others do. But here, despite so much training, Koha's Kinro still doesn't train well. Yet Kinro knows why, because he also has fuzzy sickness. That is, he also has the same problem that Suka has, as he lets others say. But Kinro, because he also has a fascination, meaning that he also has that same problem that Suka has, which he lets others say. But what about Kiner? He doesn't want her to tell the others about. After that, Sink and Chrome start making more glasses, and then they make one glass, a blower. So when the two of them try to make something, it doesn't look very good. Then Sink says it's okay. It will take them a few months to get good at it. But Chrome says they don't have months to spare. So Sink says he's not any kind of graph man. As soon as he says this, Chrome remembers something and then goes to the village and brings back a bad man, and he starts to request them to give it to him. But he thinks they are doing black magic, so he does not want to give it to them. After that, he asks Sink whether he is the one who made Koa's seal, and he says yes, he is the one who did. Then he begins to bring them into his lab when the old man sees the shape of those glasses and is astonished, which gives the other two an idea. After that, Chrome starts making the glasses right in front of him, which makes the old man himself. He can't stop him because the way he's building it is completely wrong, so in the end, he can't restrain himself. And after that, he takes the blower from their hands and starts working his magic. And since he's an old man and a craftsman, he starts building like a pro all at once. So finally, after a few days, they all together create a very good lab, which makes Sink emotional when he sees it, because now they finally have a full-fledged science lab. So then Sink calls Crom too. He says that before all this had ended, they had achieved quite amazing things in their world. Then he looks at Jinnar's glass. He says that if something similar could be made into their spear, maybe it would help Kinro's fusion, and at the same time, they both would look cool, which makes them both very happy, and he goes and stands beside them. Seeing them, Sinka and Kuha understand. So Senk says that yes, he can make the spear for them, but only with silver. This makes Jinnar very happy, and he starts to hug Senko. But then Senko says that for him, he has to go to a very dangerous place where he can die in seconds. Then his happiness changes quick. The next day, Senko, some hair-like thing is taken out and said that it will make silver from this. Then the Jinn is very happy to see this, and the Jinn, then it feels sad again, because now it doesn't have the golden spear. So the final ones make the silver, which severe. He becomes very happy, but Senk says that he didn't make it just for him. He has some use for. So the people get ready for their journey, where Kenro will be their bodyguard today. Yase is very happy with them and says he starts to move ahead. Then they go to a hot spring, and at that moment, Sing Kinro grabs the spear and says that if the color of his silver spear turns black, then they must leave from there quickly, because if they remain outside, then if they say he'll be killed. He starts trembling and moving forward very fearful. Then Sink tells him he has to stay ahead, so he tells Kuha, if he's scared of it, then give him his silver spear. But if he doesn't even want to give it, then let him wander around like this. Gino starts to move forward, after which Gin stops and says to the others to look ahead, and they all see that there is a very beautifully colored pool of water where Gino sees a mermaid and begins to move forward. But then Senko notices something, and Chrome asks him if something is wrong, and he says no, this is exactly what they wanted, but the place is full of poison. However, Gino, seeing south, starts to move forward, but then his spear turns black, so Senko tells him to come back, and Cuckoo grabs him and brings him back. Only then do they see that crow falling into that gas in the water, and Jiner, in his vision, that mermaid transforms into a witch, after which they see that the crow has completely melted, and then they ask what that thing is, and Senk says it is sulfuric acid, and that they need it to work in their chemistry. Hearing this, Koha Kor decides that she will bring it no matter what, and then Sink stops her by telling a story. He says that when someone like him had tried to do it, before they could reach there, he had already extinguished his hearth to do this, but then he himself died in that very second, so this is extremely fast. Kuha asks what they will do now, and Sen says they will make a mask, so their Crossman gets to work, and when Chrome says it's now his turn for the mask, Sen says he won't go outside. When asked why, Sen answers that it's because there is no guarantee for that mask. So if they're both scientists, if I die, then who will protect Kuri? So Senak decides that he will give her all his knowledge. Hearing this, Chrome says that he can't do this. It's too soon. But he says it's okay. He can do that. But Chrome is not for this. He believes this because he doesn't want him to die, and he won't take that knowledge from him because he will have to come himself anyway. And besides, it's him anyway. Why go there? Because that lone person has so much knowledge, so they could send someone else there too. Then Senk says that because he knows how the mask works, he will have to go. But Chrome doesn't agree, and they decide that if he goes, Graham will have to accept it and says, okay, now his life is in his hands. The next morning, Senk burns some baboos to make him into powder, after which they leave. But here Gino is held back because of yesterday's circumcision, which is why today if he doesn't want to go outside, Sinak says it's a good idea because that will slow them down. And then he cleans his silver spear and takes it back. Then the two of them reach where Chrome is very scared, but Sinak rushes over to him and tells him that if he stays too frightened, he could be killed. After which, the two of them go down, and Chrome sees that Sinak is also scared. So then the two move on. But here, Ginar is very troubled. It happens that because he couldn't go with them, Old Army says that fear is not a bad thing. It can keep him alive longer. And there is no human who does not feel. Hearing this, he realizes in real life that yes, right now, his brother Kinro will have to fight with Magma with his blurry eyes. After that, he says that if he wants something, he will have to overcome his fear. After which, Old Army says that he accidentally made one extra, so he decides to take it and go. And here Senko starts digging near the acid when suddenly his pipe catches fire, which on seeing, Crom starts moving toward it, but Senko turns it off. However, Crom's foot slips and he begins to fall down in slow motion, and before he can hit the ground, Ginder comes and stops him with his sphere. And because he's heavy, he starts breathing heavily, but Senko lets him control his breathing, so then he becomes frightened again. But afterward, he controls himself, gets a little motivated, and saves Crom. After that, they finally gather the acid when they return. Kuhu becomes very excited that now they will be able to make the medicine, but Chrome says there are still many things they have to do. Then Senk says they are close because now they have all the things, and now they just have cooked. After that, they cook the sulfuric acid and make hydrochloric acid, which is this is dangerous. After which, they make chlorosulfonic acid, and this is also dangerous. After which, they make something even more dangerous. When she starts making the chemicals, seeing all this, Kuhak becomes worried that his sister is going to eat all this. So then Sink says, hold on, his work remains unfinished, and now he needs ammonia, whose source we ourselves are. Seeing this, Kuhak becomes even more troubled. So Sink says that these are not for drink, and now they want alcohol, but they will have to work hard to make it. But then Main says that in tomorrow's fight, they will get a lot of loot. So the next day, they all set about preparing for the fight. And this time, Kuha will participate again, because it is against their rules. So those people cannot do any. But there is another person who has participated, and that is Senak, because he is unmarried too, right? But Senak does not plan to win. He only plans to tire out the opponent, and when he faces his team member, he will easily defeat Goes. And because Kinro is the only one who can fight against Mema, they motivate. So finally, the time comes. And Senk also gets a chance to enter today. When Ruri finds out that Senk has also come fight, she hears his name and notices something and says that she might know him. Saying this, she goes up to him and asks if his name is Senk and if he can tell her what his surname is. Hearing this, he is surprised because no one in their village uses a surname. So how could she possibly know about it? But then she coughs and falls to the ground. And when Senk tries to come to her, she is stopped and taken back to the one who. Senk says that he too has a lot of questions to ask. Then Magma comes. And enraged, Koha sets off to go toward her, but Crom stops her, and he too is at Magma's weak spot. He was practicing attack, after which they draw a lottery that will determine the basis of their fight, and they plan that they will tire Magma out, and finally Kenro will defeat. So now they begin to pray, after which they draw. And the first match will be between the two people they had never even imagined would face each other, Kenro and Mag, which causes all the disposed to be stunned. So angry because of this, they come back and start talking about it. And here, Senak makes the first Red Bull in stone, whose color is as enjoyable as this. K-Jin Rosé drinks it quickly because maybe he'll have to fight him at the end because he ate all the things. Sui then goes to bring even more, but here Magma's spy overhears all this. So after that, the time for the fight begins. He comes and says that when Sui went to take some herbs, she went into the water. Hearing that she had fallen, those people understood that she was saying untouchable because how else could she know that she had gone to bring herbs? But Koha can't take the risk, and because she is the fastest, she will have to go get her. So seeing this, Gino becomes even more worried, and hearing this, Megma becomes very happy because apart from Koha, no one can beat her. So she tells Kinro to concede defeat, and if he accepts defeat, she will make him her right hand. But Kinro refuses her because he is not that kind of person, and he is not the same as before, and he has to win because his friends depend on him. So as the fight begins, Kinro starts to gain the upper hand a bit. So Magma's plan is to throw a rock at him, but the referee notices him, so his plan doesn't work. And here Suika ties him by the leg and keeps him him there, and he somehow gets out and heads toward the village. And because Magma moves a little farther away, Kinro has a bit of trouble seeing. It happens then that a needle also comes there, which can see him because it has the same problem seeing him as he does. Seeing? So in that breath, Magma strikes him, but he still cannot give up. And here Suka throws his pumpkin to his side, which he jumps up and puts on. And as soon as he puts it on, he can see him completely and dodges each of his strikes and catches him, and then he starts striking beyond that, after which he strikes him in the mouth and says that if he had had that thing earlier, he would have beaten him much earlier. So here when Magma loses, he says that he doesn't know whether this is according to the rule or not. So he should go and ask the ref. If the referee allows it, then he will concede defeat. But Senk tells them to watch and understand that there is some trick. Then this is not against the rules saying this. Magma strikes him from behind, because of which he wins. Brother, this was in the rule. And after that, it's Chrome's turn, and the question between Chrome and Magma, but what match will happen after that is for him to determine. People are worried because if Kuhaku doesn't arrive, Magma will win, and it's already very late. So now they will just have to keep watching. After that, Crom and Magma start fighting like children, after which he sees that Kook is coming. Seeing her, Magma quickly tells his Samsa to lose, which ends the fight, and Kuku doesn't reach, so the fight is won by Senk. Then when Kuku arrives, Suka apologizes to her. But actually, Kuku wasn't worried about winning, he was worried about him, and because now nobody stood against Magma, he began to think that he alone would win, and since they now had only one guard left, Jinar would have to win, so he told them very seriously that they had to win, for which he had saved the power drink. So as soon as he consumed the raw materials, he became very confident, but the fight began only in his imagination. If he starts attacking, the other side attacks him back, but that doesn't do anything to him well. Only in his imagination. See, the one in front also goes behind the fear, causing him to fall into the water at once. If he gives it, he wins because of it, but because he ate all that food, his stomach gets upset, so he has to run away from there quick, but the poor guy can't even reach there. So maybe now he won't be able to fight anymore. And now, because there is no one warrior. Oh, so Chrome will have to defeat, and if he wins, he'll get Ruri and Gao. Even if he becomes the new chief, as soon as the fight begins, Magma knocks him down with a single blow and starts beating him, then Asha. The mountain also comes, and because Magma knows that Chrome isn't going to lose, he decides that until Rory comes, and if she doesn't stop, he'll keep hitting her. And then Chrome throws the clay at him and rushes to save the pumpkin with the needle. Then he fits it into his spear and points it at it, saying that since he's with science, he can win, which makes him watch. No one understands anything, but Sen realizes that he is thinking about creating fire from that glass. But actually that won't happen, because a glass and a magnifying glass are different. So he tells Sink that it won't start a fire. He would say that yes, he knows, but he's a science guy, so he can do this, and that's when Senak sees that he actually has. She collected her sweat and tears and poured them into that glass, making it look like a magnifying glass. Just then, Asha Giri came and asked, will this work, and how much time will it need? Senak said yes, after which he calculated in his head and said that it would take at least 50 seconds. Hearing this, Asha Giri stood on top of the house and called Mak, which, when seen by the two of them, made them both astonished, and he asked how he was still alive. He answered that, of course, it was because of his sister-in-law. Just then, he does something, throws a lot of flowers there, and says that he owes him a favor, that if he moves his heart will get trapped. Hearing this, he tells the referee that this is against the rules, but then Senko says that yes, that will only happen when his heart gets trapped. He might just be saying that, and hearing this, he gets angry, after which he lets Chrome hurry, because he can only hold him back for 1 minute, and Chrome says that he's so scared he can't move at all, which makes Magma laugh and say that he will only have to stay for 1 minute, after which he will teach him a lesson, after which Chrome will control the water inside, controls himself to do it, and then finally, it catches fire. Then all his clothes catch fire, and at that moment, Chrome drops him into the water, so Chrome finally wins. After his victory, Agri leaves from there and goes to here. When Jinar tells Ruri that she can now marry Chrome, she blushes a little and replies that it's not like that, whoever wins will. She will marry him. Hearing this, Kinar asks, why not make himself the king, since now there is no one like that? If there is no one who can defeat, then when the battle begins between him and Senak, he starts attacking that flank, because now he wants to become king and marry Ruri, but none of the villagers want him to become king, because everyone, who knows what he will do. So seeing this, Chrome throws Melon toward him, seeing that he understands, and he buries Lottie, and when Ginnar starts coming toward him, he makes him incapable forever. So Senak wins the fight, and now, by defeating Chrome, he can make him new chief, but when it's time for the battle, he sees that he is lying unconscious, which means the winner is Senak. Hearing this, everyone is surprised, so Ko asks that if he marries Ruri, the whole village will become his, right? Okay, if he does that, everyone hears it and is surprised again, and someone comes and tells him to get out, but now he couldn't either, because Senak had already won, so he quickly told them to take out his stuff, and the villagers brought it. But just then, Ruri's condition would worsen even more, so then Senko thinks that they will have to be set to work soon, and just then someone from their village, people come and say that they will have to party with her all night, because that's their tradition, and hearing Hearing this, Sink says that he says he wants a divorce, then takes all the alcohol away. And seeing all this, none of the villagers understand anything. Pate gets angry and wants to catch him, but Kin comes and says that he is not a bad person because he has stayed with him. And here, the old man Kasa makes a water spinner, but doesn't know what use it will be. So Sanko says that he will find out tomorrow. Then, as everyone is about to leave, the old man stops Asagiri from going with them because he is a weak-minded person. But then his clothes get caught, and seeing him, it doesn't seem that he is a weak-minded person. After that, Sinak wakes Chrome and tells him that their stuff will be found. Then he tells him to bring the coal, but he goes to his lab and sees that the coal is finished. But no worries, they don't need any coal. They just need their parts, please. After which, he starts mixing the chemicals, and everyone else helps him fetch and hold things. And then finally, the next morning, Asha Carey opens that water spinner to see what it actually is. And as soon as she sees it, she understands what it is. He quickly goes to them with, and he is very happy. But when he comes to Senak, his condition doesn't seem right. Maybe a bomb went off nearby. So Senak says that nothing like that happened. They were just trying to mix some chemicals, and he mixed a little too much, which caused a blast. After that, when he takes that thing, Asagiri asks if this is the same thing, and he says yes, this is the same thing. Hearing that mixing with hydroxide will make baking soda, all the disputers react. Then he mixes the last chemical to make a sulfur drug, after which, when everyone in the village goes to meet Ruri, Asa decides that he will stay there, so Senko tells him to go to the lab and stay for them. And when he goes there, he sees his cola that Sink had made and kept for him. And seeing this, he becomes emotional and starts drinking it. Then Sink pulls that drug out, and Chrome tells Ruri to believe in it. If she agrees, then Sinak feeds it to her, after which she puts a glass mug into his chest and tells him to say it. Then she says that, and hearing it, he understands what the problem is, and then there he sees something dead with a mustache. He takes it to test, and then realizes that Sue hadn't come there to eat, and when he bites it to see, then he realizes what illness she has, and then tells them to go back to Rory, because maybe their drug won't work. Then Yuva takes the syringe, and comes to call those people quick because Rory's condition is getting worse. So seeing this, the others think that this is Senak's doing. When Senak arrives, he understands, but here Exaf, very angry, grabs him by the throat. Yet Senak remains very calm and says that she has pneumonia, which at one time took the lives of many people, but what they have created will completely eliminate that bacteria, which means those people have won, and now they just keep pushing him and keep him down. Hearing this, he gets even angrier and puts a slap on it, but then she stops him. He says that he believes in her because those people believe in her complete, after which all of them believe in her. The left keeps on pressing it for a few days, and Senk thinks that what is the real issue? The reason Ruri is still alive today is that she was always warmed by the hot spring for him. She used to bring water, after which she would finally recover, making everyone happy, and as soon as she was well again, she would start running. It seems, and seeing this an official, makes that village's new chief Sank, and right then he learns the name of the village. Their village is called Iskami Phyllis. Hearing this, he is stunned, and just then Ruri, she comes and says that yes, she heard correct, and she knows that her full name is Ishigami Senak. So Senak understands who must have created their village, because all the people of Prithvi had turned into stone, and here only Kohaku and a few people still have foreign to Maklad. But Krom and Kohaku don't understand any, so they ask what happened and how the important one knows about it. So then Sen answers that she probably learned about him from some story of math, because every future princess is told this whole story, which she passes on to the next generation. After which, we look at Sinak's home, where her father discovers that Sinak has been a very curious child since childhood and had even dreamed of her death, that she would go into space, for which she took tests. But Sinak was different because she wanted to make something herself and go there. One day, her death sees that the space agency is looking for candidates to take into space, and because Sinak, if dead, doesn't know how to swim, then carry a body from the lab and bring it to him. He starts seeing nerves because by giving them an electric shock, he can automatically control anyone's body. So he makes her a swimsuit for her death so that it will be easier for her to swim. But he doesn't work there. Yet by watching his wife's hard work and practicing well, he gets selected in the interview. Later, when the day comes for him to leave, his death is carried only by a TV microphone. He says that he will soon bring a gift for her from space. After that, they finally go into space. After reaching space, they all dock with an international space station where they meet some other people, but there is also a singer with them who doesn't speak well to them. But this is actually a joke, and in reality, the singer, it becomes very nice, after which they all quickly become friends and start working in space. And that singer starts singing from space for her audience, after which she tells the date of the sync to her, tells about how she was very poor, after which she sang and became very famous. But then one of those spaces sees the moment when the green light began to spread across the whole world, and all the people were turning to stone. But because they were in space, nothing happened to them, but they received no signals from Earth. However, they saw that the internet was running, but nobody was posting any, so they watched live video where they could see that all the people on Earth had turned to stone, which left everyone who saw it astonished. And then someone says that there must must be at least one person alive, so they should wait to contact someone, but they don't know that. When will he do it? He says to the obsessed ones that they should go back because everyone in this world has turned to stone. So the same, people remained alive, and now the whole of humanity depends on it. After which, they find out that it was the light that started from South America, so that will be the source. After which, he sets out alone, but he can't do this because there is no one to help him on the ground, so then they let him stay there. 3 people leave from there, and after that, they finally land in the water. They are safe there, but those people do not land on their target, and they land upside down. So now those people start wondering what they will do next. Then Sanak's dad decides that he will go down to help him, and they land and come to help him, and everyone starts living on an island. Just then, they see some, but there, when they see that it is just a stone, they spend their nights there and continue living like that for a few months. A few years pass, during which they have more children, and 2 of them even get married, and thus they begin to live in this world. And they do not give up because Sanak's T is confident that his son will be alive, and he knows what that thing is, and he will figure out what happened here. Then he will tell all the people of this world. He will save, and that is why he instructed Disha that she should keep some friends ready to help. Ruri tells him this whole story. Hearing this, Koha asks if they are Sanak's relatives, and he says no, because many generations have passed, so no one remains related after so many generations. Then the people of their village start celebrating for the new chief, and everyone joins them to party. But Gino takes Kinro to the guard, and here Ashigari is also taken to the village. People start inviting to the party, then Senak and Rory take them aside alone, after which we, nearby again, see that one member of his T's party had fallen seriously ill, so 2 people went from the island toward the town to help, and if those people hadn't come, he would have left their children to take care of, but those people didn't come, and that member dies, and after that, the illness also affects her husband, and even after Senak's dead, know that he has pneumonia, yet he is unable to do anything, after which his condition also becomes worse, and as he is leaving, he says his last words that he is happy that he got so many days to live. He says he got a family, and the days he spent in space were very good. Saying this, he also dies, so now only Senko's death and something with that singer remained. Only children were left, and so that she could tell this to her son, she had created that story and passed it down to them for generations. Suna had said this. When Ruri tells him, he thinks that her death was very useful. Then the 2 of them go to their village's cemetery, where she says that there are people whom her dad had found, and a few years later, they too were killed, and their new generation began. Then Senk tells Ruri that he'll be staying here for a while, so Ruri goes to Sor. After she leaves, he begins to cry for his debt and thanks him for doing all this for him. Then when he returns, he says to Asgari, he hears that Tsukasa is coming with his army, so upon hearing this, he tells Sen that the time has come for him to show that science. What can the people of the kingdom do? Or when Kinro and Ginder start guarding, Kinro becomes very troubled because he says they have to go to the party, and if anyone shows up there, Jinder Kinro should inform the villagers, and if anything happens, then he should. He tells Bridge to cut him off as well, and then Kinro leaves from there, and Gino slowly starts moving back because only one man can fight at a time in Bridge. So, seeing this technique, one man becomes very impressed when suddenly someone comes and attacks him, but Kinro stops him, after which that man says this is not a strategy, and it seems that this guy is a bit smart, and when he comes near the gunner, he looks at it and understands that there is something wrong with his sight. At the same time, Asha falls and starts telling them about that guy, saying that he is very dangerous, and his name is Yoga, and if he and Chuka both come here together, then no one can stop them, and so that he can warn them. He came here early saying this. He begins to say more to Kinaro, that someone has attacked them, so when they go there, Asagiri says that this is the one he was talking about, and he attacks Kinro, and hangs from the bridge by grabbing his leg, and tells Kinro to cut the bridge, but Kinro can't summon the courage to do it. So, seeing this, Sink puts some kind of powder into a pipe and sprinkles gunpowder on it, which seeing this, Asagiri realizes what he is trying to do, so he takes the stone to Makma and tells him to throw it hard at them. So then he asks why he should obey. Then he replies that Sink is now the chief of their village, so he must do it for him. When Sink sets fire to the gunpowder, Agri tells him to throw it, and at that moment, it explodes and the stone flies off some. And in that breath, Agri begins to tell them that this village has made a gun, so they should run away from. Then they all begin to flee. But Yug stops and looks at Senak and asks if he has made the gun, and if that means he is the same man. Then Senak says that yes, he was right, and to go and tell Sukasa. Senak is still alive, and he is waiting for him with his army and guns. After they leave, Senak feeds Kinro something, begins to put something on, and here those people are very angry for having run away from him. When it happens, Asagiri tells them to attack between sterns, and Senk knows this because Asagiri told he will refuse what would actually be in their favor. But here Yuga knows that they will lose, so he will let them go. Refuses, but the others don't agree and talk about attacking. Hearing that, Ga gives in because it doesn't matter what happens. In the meantime, Sank creates a class for gunners there, after which Sink gets to work, where he says that they are going to make such a ceiling that people will be astonished to see it, it. And when he told this to the old man, he says it makes him very motivated actually. A bit too much, then he immerses himself in all kinds of work. And after that, when the storm begins, it seems that the enemies come to attack them because in the rain, they will not be able to use guns. But Senk gets ready. And as soon as they arrive, Senk starts laughing. And when those people on them, we attack. And then those people attack back with Japanese kata on, which are very sharp, so that when others see it, they are astonished, wondering how they made it. So then we look at their procedure where they take the Senk iron and begin to beat it, which they do twice. But to make a tana, you have to do it many times. Yet they will only do it twice because they have science on their side. And anyway, they are not real tana artists. So Senk, they mix some chemicals into the blade so that it becomes the first copy of their sword pull, which causes everyone else to start getting scared. So then seeing this, Yuga steps forward and says that this was their plan all along. Just then he hits. He spins the spear and attacks them, and they can't escape the blows. Then Agri comes up from behind and is the strongest of the three when he tells to kill him. Then he says that yes, he knows. Seeing this, they all begin to think Asagiri is a traitor, but the three of them plan to attack him together, but Makma doesn't listen and goes to attack alone. When he goes to attack, Kuha lets Jinu help her and attacks him. And when he starts attacking Makma, Kohaku attacks him from above with Kinra's help, but Yoga notices her and begins to swing his spear toward her. And just as the spear is about to pierce her abdomen, then his. When spear goes, people wonder what happened, and Yuga wonders how it could be. Maybe someone had stunned his spear. Then he remembers the time when Ashigiri stabbed his spear, and he understands that she is on their side. At first he refuses, but then when he finds out, he accepts that yes, she is on their side. And then we see a flashback where Sink had sent Suika after Asgari and given her a small knife made of charcoal with which he had crushed the Yuga's sphere. After that, we look at that moment of Yuga when Tsukasa had revived him, where all the old builders began to mock, saying he was a very weak leaf. So Tsukasa lets them tease him, and he says that if he gets his favorite weapon, he will fight, after which he teaches them a lesson all by himself. And here, Asagiri also notices his skills. Then they arrive in Sakasa's kingdom, where he has built an army and a base, and along with it, he has also revived some beautiful girls, because go ahead, brother. After which Suka then tells him his mission, that how he does not want to revive those people who are bad. So Yoga also agrees with, because this world is not yet capable of feeding so many people, after which he tells him about Senko and how he will bring all the people back. He killed the person he wanted to bring back to life, and now, in the present, when they break Yoga's spear. Seeing this, everyone there runs away, and Yoga is quite impressed watching them build their teamwork and things. But then he says they hadn't come for that, and just then they turn back to see that they have set fire to their village. Then when Ruri tells her bodyguard to go help someone else, their bridge is set on fire and destroyed by a girl. Later, when she starts coming, a Sif and Kuha try to attack her from beyond, but she is so professional that when she jumps up and comes to Yuga after fighting. After doing all this, the two of them leave from there, after which everyone tells the villagers to evacuate because they cannot put out the fire. But because Ruri's bridge has collapsed, they stay there and bring everyone into the realm of science. But they start to see Yuga and his party coming out of the forest, and just then Bowler comes back, and again, when they set it on fire, those people start extinguishing. Seeing all this, Kinro becomes very worried, and Sui also sees all of it. After hearing this, she decides that she will help, so to help them, she attracts everyone's attention and begins to lead people far behind her. There she decides that she will take them outside. When everyone finds out about all this, then Sanko, upon hearing it, remembers the lake of that city and thinks that something bad is going to happen, after which he moves up. When it starts, a gust of gas comes there, and then Senko and Kwak also arrive, and Coop takes him and puts a head mask on one of his legs, and then the others also notice this and go to the leg, after which Senko comes, and they all ask him if he did this, and he says yes he did, and those people attack this kingdom of science by mistake, because after that they have masks. So those people leave from there, and after they leave they start thinking that maybe those people are up to some trick. So hearing this, Yuga tells them to go test, and he drops the three of them down, and as soon as those three fall down they are killed. So then Yuga thinks that those people have advanced too much, so he decides that he will have to fight them with his entire army. And here Senko also knows that those people will do that, so that here, when the villagers start rebuilding their homes, in the meantime, Asha asks Giri what his next move will be, and they will tell Suka that he is alive, so he says yes, and he will know that those people can't make gunpowder so quickly, because the chemical Sakasa uses to revive people is quite easy to make. But since they haven't revived a single person, they will know that they don't have nitric acid, which is a bit difficult to make, and it is that which they use to make gunpowder. He might have been able to, and Suka is smart, so he will figure it out. But if everyone else can't understand anything, then he says that Suka will. They are about to be attacked by an army against which they will have no guns. So Kinro asks, "Tell me, what will you do?" He then says that they will have to attack them first, and that too with an amazing scientific toy, the kind that makes all their people obsessed. But Koa agrees to this, after which Chrome asks what they will build, and then Senk says that they are going to make very dangerous weapons, after which he says says that he is going to make a cellular phone. Hearing this, nothing makes sense to him, but if Asha loses hope because of this, then everyone should know about it. They start wondering what this thing is, after which he tells them that with it they can communicate to find the enemy. Might give them an advantage, but those people wonder who their spy will be. So then Senak says that they already have. Only then they remember Taiju and Yujia, and because Taiju was very excited about the cell phone, he thinks that he will be very happy about this. So after that, they make a map to build, after which Yuga comes and also tells Tsukasa that Senku is actually alive. So he starts saying they will have to attack them very carefully, and because there is water around their village, they will have trouble fighting. It will happen because they are not ready to fight in the water. Meanwhile, here Scrum Senak asks whether Tsukasa will find out. Come on, if he's alive, won't he kill both of them? Then Senko says no, killing them would be wrong. He will definitely. The hostess will keep this in mind. When Yokosuka asks about it, he says they have no need to worry about him, but they'll have to keep an eye on them. And even if those people become spies, they still couldn't get the news to them that quick. But he knows those people can strike first too. But he says his right hand is keeping an eye on them. And because they don't have a V, they get the news late, after which Senk and the others get to work making mobiles where Cram and the old man are very excited. So he explains to them a little about how it works. Then Agri comes and asks what they will make first, and Senko says they will make a cotton can. Hearing that they would build a machine, Agri completely lost himself, and they went back to their work. After it was built, they gave it to Chan. It tells them how this works, and then Chrome understands that those people are going to make sleep wires from it when they go shit something. When he goes to take the gold, Senko says that they will test it first. Then he goes to the village and begins looking through the villagers' belongings, where he finds some sugar crystals. He brings them and puts Kinro and Ginir to work with them, which makes everyone watch. They are amazed. Then he makes them and gives them to everyone, and when those people put it in their mouths, they are very impressed. After this, Senko asks Ashigari how much he knows about that. Hearing this, Skinro thinks of something else, and then says that they are being watched, and Rashagiri knows that if Yuga had told her, she would not refuse, after which he leaves a cotton candy for her in the forest. Then Crom asks if they are giving that to some enemy. When he is around, he says that he wants her to tell them that they have a cotton candy. So the girl starts thinking that maybe it's poison, so she tastes it, and as soon as she eats it, she remembers her old days. Then the next day here, Kinro starts making his cotton candy and feeding, and after eating it, Senko and Asha begin judging Rei, so disturbed by all this. Kinro asks them why they waste time like that, and then the two of them explain to him that Katangandi is good. If they aren't made properly, their golden wires won't be good either, so they'll have to figure out how to make. After that, Kinro and Jiner get back to work. Only then does Chrome let them stop, because he's realized that when their Yunrala speed stops, the cans go bad, meaning they'll have to keep spinning them at a constant speed, so they all start looking for ways to do that. That's when Sen says he knows what they should do. After that, he makes the first gear, and hearing this, Ekasaf becomes distressed, because he had promised to win her for his daughter. He gave it, so he thinks that maybe Koha won't accept it, but there's no problem in giving it, so then he does something to it. He starts attaching things to the jar and turning it with that gear, and seeing this, Chrome gets an idea, and he moves to the side, and he tells the old man this too, who gets very excited and goes to make it, after which the gold wires. They start making and joining, where Koha asks how long she must make them, and Senko says they will have to take them to that mountain, which makes all their people worry, but because he is the village chief, he puts all the girls and children to work on this task. While everyone is working, Chrome and the old man are busy making something there, and after 3 days and 3 nights, they finish making and finally complete it, and then go to tell Sink, after which they go and see that those people have made a water. Seeing this, everyone is astonished, but those people, without knowing what it is, have built it. So seeing this, the Centric is impressed whose? Afterwards, they modify it and attach an electric generator and start generating electricity from its power. And seeing this, everyone is amazed, and now they will have no need for labor. But because their electric bus is getting waste, they will now have to make a battery, and this will also be very useful for making their mobile. It's coming. So after that, they all start making a battery in a bottle, but Kinro is not convinced that there will be that much power inside. So he sleeps and gains a lot of knowledge, and because the two of them will no longer have to spin it, they become very happy, but they will still have to train with Cuckoo. And here, because Chrome and Old Man 3 Night, when they built the water wheel without sleeping, they became very tired. And here, when Senak starts making the gear by himself, it keeps breaking again and again. So after that, the two of them somehow look at the blueprint of his gear, and as soon as they see it, they both get motivated again and start building it quick, after which they make a gear to blow air into their oven, meaning that now they won't need people's help for that either. And seeing this, everyone becomes very happy. After this, they all start making light bulbs, but making them is very difficult. However, the old man does not give up, because he begins to enjoy it a lot, and now he is working at that level. Then all the villagers return to their normal work, and a few months pass like this, and the cold season arrives, after which they finally make the light bulbs, and then from them they extract the air, and finally they make a light. And then at night, somehow it brings some villagers under under one foot, and right then, snow begins to fall. After that, Sen turns the switch on, and a light starts flashing all over the foot. Seeing this, Ashikari can't understand why is he doing this? But then he notices that today is Christmas, and because of making this light, Crom goes into the cave to collect even more things and asks what they need. But Sink says that they have everything that makes the poor one despair. But then he tells him that he can bring some copper, so excited, he goes there. And after he leaves, the old man asks what he will do now. So Sunko says that now they will have to make a level 2 light bulb. So the old man gets to work where they make a vacuum tube, and they have to burn something inside to remove the air. But the first time they fail because of the calculations. It's a bit difficult, but both of them don't give up, and just then Chrome arrives there along with Cop. So taking him, they again try, but this time the internal wire burns out. So doing this and that, they fail many times, and in the end, Senak says they don't have anything that those people use. Then when night comes, he goes to sleep, but because of the same worry, he can't sleep. And during this time here, Sui starts looking for some stones, thinking maybe she can find something useful. But when Senak gets out of bed and comes outside, Ashikari comes ahead of him and says that everyone is ready to watch the sunrise because today is New Year. So after that, they all go outside, and when the sun, just then a stone starts to glow in Suika's hand. Seeing this, they can't understand anything. Then Senko says that the stone is glowing because it works on ultraviolet light, and the same is used to make films in the 21st century, and its name is tungsten, which is the strongest metal and doesn't yield to heat. So Senk and Chrome get ready to crush it, but with them, he'll need someone else to go. So he starts asking everyone, and finally decides on Sen that he will take Mac with him because it would be very difficult to smoke him out and remove him so they can use his power before he leaves. Before he goes, Agar throws something at him after saying something, and then they set out on their journey and reach the cave's entrance. Senak begins to see the water drying up, but when they start to go inside, Crom becomes a little worried about Mema because he only thinks about himself, and maybe he was thinking of killing them too, but they are being harassed. They need Megma. Then the three of them start to leave like that when Senko feels something and tells them because the rock ahead of them breaks easily. Just then, a cracking sound comes from Senko's foot. Hearing this, Megma goes and gives him a punch, and just as the rock beneath him is about to break, and he is about to fall down, suddenly, Sanak stops him, but Chrome tells him to let him go or he will fall too, and he had seen that he wanted to kill him. So hearing this, Makma also says that yes, he's right, because those people are not strong at all, and they don't care about signs at all, and if he hadn't come here, they would have looted their village. Even after this, Sen doesn't loosen his hand, and he falls down. After falling down, Sen starts looking for a way to go back up when Chrome from above, he pours water, which makes Magma angry. So then he says that if they pour the water, it will help get them out. Then Senk makes some plan and starts to take action, and he asks Chrome whether, if he lets him make some, would he build it. Hearing this, he agrees, but Magma is still angry with him. So Senk explains to him that in their time they all work together with people like him and Mag. Just then, a lot of water starts pouring down from above because Chrome is above with the water. He pours water down the pipe, after which the water starts splashing, but because it is still cold weather, Senak begins to shiver, and then Megma sees him and lifts him up with her strength. Then after filling with water, he also comes out, and they light a fire and start cooking the fish to eat. So avoiding that, they then set sail again. And finally, Senak reaches a place where they find a very large stone, and Senak said they are going to get many things that will be nothing short of treasure, and because that stone is very strong, Makma himself, he makes a double X for it. Then he says he was actually going to kill them, but Senak says that he knows that at the time he had actually pushed him to save. Hearing this, Chrome is stunned and begins to apologize. And when he tells him to kill him, then he says that there is no need for that. He was going to kill him anyway. He just changed his P. Leah, after which the two of them begin to collect all the things, but Makma gets angry with them, and at that moment Asha falls, remembers many things where she had said that she has to bring Senk before 3 nights pass. So he tells them to hurry, but the two do not want to go, so he drags them out against their will, and because evening is about to come then, Makma puts a leaf over Senko's eyes, grabs him, and quickly starts bringing him toward the village where Senko thinks that he is caught. Maybe they're going to hand it over to Suka, because that's the only way they can stay alive. Then Agar says it's not like that at all. Hawk opens his leaf, after which he sees Saturn through a telescope right in front of his eyes, the one they all built together because today is Senk's birth, so it's their gift to him. This makes Senk a little emotional, and then Senk asks Agri how he knew it was his birth. At that moment, he remembers that when he had asked him how many days he had been, how she found out that it's her birthday. Then she remembers when she asked her how many days she has stayed, but he wouldn't know which day he was revived. So then he says that he had seen that on the day he was revived. He had written debt in one pair that day, and then he says that actually he was already impressed by him even before meeting. Then here, because Sink and the others bring a lot of stones, everyone sees that and starts talking, and because Suka will attack them in the spring, so they will have to hurry. Then Sinak says that they have received all the things, now they just have to mix. As soon as he says this, Magma starts breaking the stone, seeing which everyone tells him him to stop. Then Sinak says it's okay anyway. They were going to make it into powder, and hearing this, he becomes very proud, after which he again starts breaking the stone. Then Sif, seeing him helping, is surprised because he wasn't that type of person, after which all the stones become powder, and now they'll have to put it in a tube and heat it. So Chrome and Old Man talk about putting it in the oven, but Say says that would melt the glass too. They'll have to find a way to heat only the inner part. So Old Man says that means they'll have to pinpoint heat. So Senak says yes, because they have little time. So he'll do the chemicals work, and the other will have to do the pinpoint heating. Then Chrome asks that there, but since there was no other scientist, he kept quiet. And then Chrome understood that his time had come, and also told Senko that he would have to do this. Hearing this, Chrome became faithful and got excited to do that work. And seeing both of so excited, the Old Man said that he was jealous because he had loved making sieges since childhood, but he didn't have anyone interested in making those sieges with him. So then Chrome said that now that he has a friend, the Old Man doesn't understand anything. So he says that those are with him. As soon as he hears that, he becomes emotional, after which he pulls himself together, gets motivated, and immerses himself in work, after which he brings Sen along with Ashigiri to help, but he does not even know the ABCD of science, so it will be very difficult for Senk to explain it to him. Then here are Chrome and the Old Man. He makes a large lens, and because he doesn't know how effective it is, the Old Man puts some metals in a tube to test how powerful it is. Chrome holds it and lets the sunlight fall on. Some time passes, but nothing happens. And then he remembers that Senk had told him he would have to apply everything he had learned here. So Chrome puts all his tools to work and starts melting the metals one by one. It seems they again exceed 100 degrees Celsius, but Sanak had said that the hotter it is, the better. So Chrome decides that they will use electric as well, after which the next morning, Sanak finishes his chemical work, and when he comes out and sees Chrome's work, he is astonished, but it's not all that bad, so he concedes to. As soon as they hear this, everyone gets to work, and the villagers are surprised to see them, and finally they get fed up. They make a scent, after which they now have to make an air pump, for which Senko tells the Old Man that it might be difficult for him, but he is confident, and Senk takes the blueprint from his hand and looks at it, but when he sees it, he becomes excited, because making it is going to be very difficult. Hearing this, Asa gets to work, so that he can motivate the Old Man, and when the Old Man hears this, he says he doesn't need to do it. He was already motivated just by looking at the blueprint, but he says that in return, he will need a favor. He wants them to join him and do this work together, because they're friends. So then they team up with Senko and get to work with a high five. After that, Senko says they'll now have to make plastic, and Asgari asks whether that would be possible, because for that, they would need petroleum, right? As soon as he says this, the Old Man grabs him and takes him there to help. After he leaves, Chrome and Senk get to work, where Chrome doesn't understand any, so Senk prepares a formula, and now they will need some coils. And because it's still the Thun season, seeing that the others couldn't work properly in the trench, they sent some coil to the people of Senk village to fetch. Later, he makes a heater for everyone, so that people can work inside the house staying warm. And he also makes coils for such a sensor. He finds it, and after seeing all this, a young man is impressed, after which Sink Agri puts him to work making batteries, where he starts to get emotional while singing. The Sink comes over and says he'll need more than 800, and when he hears that, he starts to cry. Then Rory comes and says she will help, after which Senk produces some crystal-like stones in front of them, seeing which the two ask what they are, and Senk says that they convert metal sound into electricity, and in this way, all the villagers get to work on their tasks, and Old Man Olt also makes the pump, and working like this, they finish the work and rebuild the world's very first cell phone, meaning that now that the time for the final battle has come near. After making it, Koha asks her that she is absolutely not sure how anyone could listen to. Hearing this, Aizan suddenly becomes serious, which makes the others surprised, and then he says that he had completely forgotten about it. Then Asgari says that he knows he will need 2 of, right? So then they start stringing the wire where he brings Rory's cab from his lab up to this, and here, Chrome first. Seeing that he's about to talk to her, Kinro gets an idea and starts to say that because he's going to talk to Ruri then, why not make her feel less emotional? After which Sui flips the switch, and Chrome says, upon hearing Ruri, everyone becomes even more excited, but then he says that science is really amazing, isn't it? Hearing this, Ruri and the others are astonished, and then Ruri says that it's exactly like a speaker hearing us. Sun asks in amazement how she knew about it, and then she says that she had heard a story about it where it was said that if a bee lays its kneel on someone's grave, then even dead people begin to speak. Hearing this, Asha, Gear, and Sun don't understand anything, when suddenly Sint remembers that graveyard where Ruri had told him that her date had brought her, so they go there and take it out. He says that Sanko believes his Daitya must have left something for him. Upon hearing this, Magma, after breaking it, says. Then he says that there must certainly be some glass container inside, so they will have to handle it carefully, after which Kuha comes forward and starts breaking, after which they see something inside. Then Senko takes it out and immerses it in hydrochloric acid to clean it, after which he asks Agri if seeing all this reminds her of anything. At that moment, he grabs her and asks whether this is a CD, so he says yes. Looking at us, all the villagers can't understand what this thing is. So then Sinak begins to explain how this works. And upon hearing this, everyone is astonished and says that his death is truly amazing. So then he says he is sure he didn't do this. His friends must have made it. After which, Ruri brings him a needle and then Sinak makes a speaker. And then when the villagers gather, when they leave, Kinro gets back to his work and then a sound begins to come from it that amazes everyone who hears it. And Senk is convinced that Senk will surely be revived one day and hear the message. So he says that if he can't win over the hearts of the villagers, then have them hear this. So at that moment, their group's singer sings a very good song. And upon hearing it, tears come to the eyes of all the villagers. And Crom, hearing this, asks what time there must be more songs like this, right? Then he says yes. And there were many things with it, like games, social media, all that. Hearing this, the villagers become very excited and motivated. After which, Koha tells him to come and says that he has done what he had said, that he would create the kingdom of science. Then he says yes. And now the time has come when he will meet his friends again. At that, Taiju is excited to. But here, Tsukasa's whole team of fighters also gets ready to fight because the spring up is about to happen. And moreover, Tsukasa says, let's end science forever and discover a new world. But Senko also gets fully ready to fight the animators. And as soon as they appear, Ashigiri starts giving us a season 1 recap about how suddenly a strange light appeared from nowhere and took over the whole world. And the moment the crystals stuck, all humans turned to stone, after which everything slowly became collapse and civilization also ended. But here one human did not give up and did not get petrified. He thought that death and time are very important. So to remember them, he kept counting every single second, and that person is Se. After being petrified for thousands of years one day, Ko and Samar came back to life. He was in an empty space and would have lost himself if he had been an ordinary person. But because he is a very genius scientist, he soon made food, clothes, and a home for himself. And he also created a miracle fluid that can break people out of stone and bring them back to life. This is the recap. When he starts telling some of the children something, Saku then says that instead of telling stories, he should be worked, so he resumes his work and again begins to tell Rikab that one day he had brought a very powerful man back to life, whose plan was that he would only revive those people who are good. But Senak did not agree to this and decided on his own to bring everyone back to life. And because of this, a fight broke out between the two, and Tsukasa revived only the powerful people for himself. Having built his army this way, and to fight it, Senak created the kingdom of science. After that, he asks him why he made the cell phone so quickly to fight and asks what he will do now, to which he replies that now they have to finish their ultimate science project, which can keep humans alive anywhere, and that is Space Foot. Hearing this, Ashigari is shocked. Then she asks outside what this space is, and Chrome then tells her that space is actual. He is the one above. Hearing all this, the old man becomes very excited and then tells Sen that he will make his ramen, an ultimate space boot. Just like their ex-Sif asked why they need to make that space food, will they attack from space with it? Then Sen says no, you all could always eat this, which is very nutritious. Hearing this, Agri understands that Sakasa is not attacking them for that reason, because he would want not only humans, but food as well, which is a bit hard to find in cold weather, but with Senku's help this thing. So for that, they all make a map and get ready, and soon they begin their work where the others all start cooking, and there Senko, the old man, and Chrome begin building the new machine, while Senko tells them that they have to remove the vacuum from the food jars like in a light bulb. But how they will do that is when Senko, he explains the plan to him, and then the old man gets motivated to mend the clothes again, after which, when Koha makes some rams, Sanak comes and says that he's going to freeze it like that. So Kinro and Jinar start working on this task, and here the three craftsmen together begin building the machine. Then, when the food gets frozen, Sink says that he's going to turn all that food into light. Hearing this, Agri realizes that he's going to make nabla, but he doesn't know that this. When they do that, Senko then explains to him that when you freeze food, the moisture inside turns into ice, after which you can put it in a vacuum and dry it complete, after which it becomes very light and thin. So after those people bring the food, Chrome shows them his new invention by which they can dry the food, and when the food is ready, Senk brings it to show them. Those who look and say, what kind of strange things are these? Then pour hot water on it, seeing which those people that start to worry a little about eating it, so Chrome says he will eat it, and as Ravana puts it into his mouth, he becomes very impressed, which makes everyone's cheeks flush, after which they all begin to eat it, and they are quite impressed by it. And then we see a flashback where Senak had eaten space food with his dad, but then here Ruri begins to worry that she might lose someone in the fight. But then Senk says there is no need to worry. His friend and a cell phone will ensure they won't even have to spill a drop of blood. But those people ask if they will still be okay, and Senk says yes, he is confident they will still be fine. Then Jinar thinks that they might also be as smart as Senk, and Senko says that is absolutely not the case. Then, when everyone here sings their ancestors' song, just as he begins to listen, Asha notices something, and later at night, when Sen goes to watch the stars alone, that's when he calls Akari. He notices and tells him to come inside. Once inside, he begins to tell him that with the help of the speakers and the cell phone, he will inform all the people. If he can save him, then Senko lets him tell his plan. But while saying all this, this, Chrome also starts listening. And here Ashagiri begins to speak, is that Suksa runs her empire on three main things. First, food and shelter, and second, the girls, and the third is that he himself would have to bring them some starlight. Only then would he grab his throat and produce that singer-like sound. But Sinak says that his voice still doesn't seem like his. So then he says yes, but it won't be known on the phone. Then Sinak understands, and he says that he will report there that everyone in America has recovered, and that people are also coming from Japan to help. So Senko agrees to his plan, and then Chrome breaks the bamboo and says he didn't understand anything. Then Asgari starts explaining to him that they will first give their cell phones, Liishtot, to Senak's friends, who will play them to Sakasa's army, where they will be made to listen to their singer's songs, and then they will perform their trick, like they will lead his army over to their side and take both of them out. So Chrome, hearing all this, decides that he will also help them with this plan. So the next day, Senak begins to put his plan into action, where Chrome, Ashagiri, and Megmas, he will give the cell phone. But if that girl has a problem, they all start making plans about her. And then Senak says that he will use science to get her attention. So they all make a kind of sphere and spread it in the ice. Then he goes to the side and presses the Chrome switch, and all those things start to blast. And then Senak tells everyone to leave. So hearing that the girl starts to come there, and here Suvika and Koha begin to watch in the forest as she then, seeing the girl, she says she saw something there. As soon as Koha hears this, she slips away from behind her, and the girl comes up to them and begins to look. Just then, Koha is about to strike her with a sword when Palak swoops in and takes her away. And then we find out that the girl was a nearby gymnast, after which she starts following. And here Sui sees that the girl is coming toward them when suddenly Sanak throws something at him, and then he explodes and emits a very bright light. Well, yes, he had also made a flash bomb. Then he catches it and says that she can no longer go by bus, but she sees that it is very thin, so she tosses it up, and it runs across all the people there and hits him in the leg, after which she starts calling everyone's name one by one. And then she notices that 3 people are missing. So at first she thinks maybe they went mining, but Asha isn't there either. So he is killing them, when he then realizes that maybe those people are taking something from their base, and that this is all just a distraction. On learning this, she quickly goes there, after which everyone starts crushing her, because if she catches them, their plan will be ruined. But then Sinak says that he has an amazing device. He then turns on a light that makes his footprints visible. Seeing all this, they all start asking what is going on. Then Sinak says that they had seen it before too. So then they realize that it is the same seed that was burning in Suka's hand. But the old man asks if they can only see all that with ultraviolet light, right? Then he answers Seneca, yes, but they can also make it artificial, which he had already created earlier by combining some things. So after getting it, they all Mana start following. Then they all stop at a place where Kuha says that the way the girl moves is different. So then he tells Sen that this person is actually an atheist who doesn't exist in this world. And then she says that she will give him hers. She can end things with her voice, but if there's an option, then he asks her whether she has killed anyone before, and she says is not, and that's why she's upset, because she believes it's a weakness of hers. Then Sank says that if her plan, if it works perfectly, she won't have to do this. And here, when the 3 of them start to leave, then the cell phone rings once, and Chrome picks it up, but Asgari says they shouldn't answer the call, and they are calling them right now, and with just 1 bell, which means that the girl has found out about them, and she is coming after them, so they'll just have to keep walking so she doesn't find out that they are taking the cell phone. And here when Sinak and the others, slightly because it's late, rest, he tells them that the girl is still after them, and the rest comes later, meaning that if those people talk, then they can ignore it. But when morning is about to come, that girl sees with the sun's ultraviolet light that there is some sort of seizure on her hands and feet. After that, Sanko and the others come to a river and see that her tracks are gone from there. So Sanko understands that she has seen him. Just then the phone starts ringing. So Jinar asks why that call is ringing. And then Sinak says that Agri told them something in Moro's call. He is sending a message because they cannot use text messages. And according to Ashagiri's message, she has reached them. But that's a good thing, because now they can catch him. That's when he Agri Chrome, who says there's no sig, just go and put it on his leg like that. And he sticks it onto one leg as soon as he sees it. The girl realizes what it is and goes to take it off. But when she gets there, she sees that it's a fake. That's when from below, Kinro and Makma together cut her leg, and she starts to fall down from there, where she thinks that she cannot land. She will be struck there. But then she comes to Kuha, grabs her and saves her, and says that even if she reaches there, only then can she catch her without losing. So after catching her, they take their respective paths, after which they all get very close. And then Chrome starts shouting, at which Asgari says that there is a guy here whose hearing capability is very high, after which he sees a lot of stones where a number is writ that Asha Gear has seen before, and when she last saw it, the last number was different, so maybe she has revived other people too. So then Magma says why not break their hands and legs before they revive them so that they cannot fight. Sag says that this is a good plan, and just as he goes to break them, he is stopped. He says that if those people haven't done anything yet, it would would be wrong to kill them without trial, and he agrees, after which he arrives at a grave where Agri says this is Senak's grave. Hearing this, Magma becomes distressed, and then he reassures him that he is not a coward, after which when they start preparing to put the phone inside his grave, because Shinnok had told his friends before separating that they should come to his grave every day, but when they begin to dig the soil, only then does he find a stone, and as soon as Megma sees it, she breaks it. But while doing this, the guard hears it, and then him everywhere. They quickly fall silent, and just when those people begin to talk again, a wasp lands on the firewood. Seeing this, they all three quietly run away from there quick, after which the next day, Sennak says that he believes those people have this. I will find out, and after a little while, his phone starts ringing. So Sennak picks it up and says hello, hearing this. Taizu cries out loud. He keeps calling her name, and hearing her voice makes Sennak emotional after that. We look a little closer where the two of them stand with the army, but then a girl notices Suk with a sharp look, after which, when the two of them set out for Sanko's grave, that girl also follows them and sees him taking out that phone. Then he calls it, and meanwhile here, Exif, Ruri hear their conversation and are very impressed, but the girl cannot hear them talk. She sees them crying, and then she wonders what the two of them are doing, after which Sanko asks her if she has any hope from Giri. He gets the message, then he says no, they just found this cell phone, and then he understands that something is wrong, and that here, the three of them stay hidden from that man, because if he hears anything, he can finish them off with a single blow. Only then does Agi tell them about it, and hearing this, Magma says that he has a plan, that he will throw his order ahead of where he will be, and when he attacks on the phone, then the order. He'll take all the blows, and then Magma will go and teach him a lesson. So Chrome gets angry, and Ashagiri falls them. He tells them to be quiet. Just then an idea comes to Chrome, so he takes out a battery and forcefully throws both hearts into the cracks. After that, smoke starts coming out, so Chrome screams loudly and starts running, which Magma sees and also starts running after him. Seeing them leave, Ashagiri slips away from them, so Chrome thinks to quickly get out of leave because he has the most important work to do, and Taiju knows the girl is the one, so then he goes up to her and says he has something important to tell her. Meanwhile, an old man here makes a copper spring, because of which he makes the record automatic, because when turned by hand, the song doesn't sound that clear. But then he thinks that if the wreck started, this work won't be completed without Ashagiri, and at that moment, he reaches Ashagiri, and here when Taiju asks that girl to listen to him, she flatly refuses and tells him that it's not her job. Her job is to look over there, and she wants him to call her ma'am. When Taiju tries to say something again, she slaps him, but when she sees that Tajo isn't much affected, he tries to speak again, and she starts hitting him again, and in the end, he says that he wants her to listen to what his friend wants to tell her. So hearing that, she agrees this time, after which he calls him, and upon hearing this, Agri starts his work, like listen Kotej, gets worried about who he is, but Nikki says that yes, she recognized him just then. Sanko says that he is his assistant, after which Agri speaks in English that she is speaking from the US, and Sanko begins to press them in Japanese, telling them that they are coming to save. Hearing this, Taiju believes him, but Ria starts to get upset that this is their plan. Hearing this, Nikki says wait, she wants to tell him something. Saying this, she begins to tell him through tears how his song meant so much to her high school. Very much. She had helped him, and she would do anything for him, but if she found out he was someone else, then she would kill him. Hearing this, both become a little worried, and then she says she has a few questions, and the first question is how many copies he sold. Hearing this, Asha gets a little anxious, but Sen very quickly calculates his current wealth status and works it out that there would be at least 60 million copies. So hearing this, the Agri girl says she had sold at least 50 million copies, maybe, but because she earns more from performances than from life or livelihood, she doesn't remember. Hearing this, she agrees and says that she is right, and her next question is what her size is. Hearing this, both of them are stunned, but Senak also has an answer because his date had sent him a photo. He measures it from his memory and tells her. She says, but Nikki says that she looks a little sleepy in the photo, and she wouldn't tell any fan her size like that, so then he starts to suspect her. Hearing this, the two of them become worried again, and Agra starts thinking what to do next, when then Senak brings the record and begins to play it. Hearing this, the three of them are astonished, and Nikki becomes very emotional and says that she knows she's gone, but she will live on because she has recovered this song. After that, she asks whether he can bring her songs back with the help of science. Ag then lets him say yes, but Senner answers no, but he can promise to protect this last song for her. Hearing this, she says okay, and that she will trust him, and maybe she will fall in love with him too. Hearing this, he becomes worried, after which he says that he will need to bring more people their literature, for which he will need help. So she accepts him and joins his team, but then she says that she knows how strong Suka is, but he won't be the only problem for them. He has joined many powerful people in his group who may not be as strong as him, but all of them will be drawn to him by his power and charisma, and two of them are very capable. One of them has already met Yuga before, and the other is Okaya, the same one who lives with bow and arrow. Will easily figure out from their voices that those people are fake, and if they start creating one by one, he will notice. The Taiju suggests, why don't they all tell everyone this together? when he's not around. Hearing this, Nikki is quite impressed and asks Sen who this Okyu is. She says there was a marine in the parcel. It sounds pretty good. And then we see Chrome, who is in very bad shape, and Magma thinks he's dead. But that's not the case. He doesn't get hit by a single arrow. So then Magma says from his voice he figured out her location and attacked her, but he saw that she wasn't there. And Chrome realized that she was moving because arrows started coming from all directions. And not a single arrow hit. That means it wasn't his luck. Doesn't want to kill them recklessly. So he quickly wrapped the wire around her mouth and tied it onto her chest. Just as he starts to signal surrender, Oak comes out from behind, and then when the smoke clears, Magma begins to look for him, where he sees that Chrome, carefree, is ready to go with, but he unties his rope because he knows he won't run away, after which he praises him, speaks kindly to him. So he starts to do the same, but then he thinks that he's trying to get something out of him by talking, so he must remain silent, after which he reaches up to Tsukasa, and as soon as he sees him, he realizes it's Tsukasa and says that he knows everything about him and that he's Senak's friend and the scientist of their village. Then Magma comes back here and talks about. Hearing this, Kuha goes after him, but Senak stops her, after which he says that their time to leave has come because now they have their gat, so they can now complete their mission. Hearing this, Kinro Rain. It seems like he hesitates, but as soon as they praise him, he gets motivated again, after which, seeing so many items, Asha asks, do they need to take so many things? To which he says yes, because if they have to return to the sequence, then they will have to do this, but it is very heavy. Then Senko says that this is not a problem. As soon as he says this, Asha sees that old man is making a wheel. Then Sunak says yes, those people are going to make a car. He then excitedly starts working on the blueprint, which makes the villagers start talking, wondering what suddenly came over. He then says that he's excited because he's going to make his own Thar, after which he starts boiling some honeycomb in hot water, which Asha, Garakanaro, and Jin had a very hard time bringing, and using that, he starts making pistons. Is something they won't use. They'll just put a mold on it and pour in hot metals, after which Magma Spew will take out coal. He takes it and then begins explaining to him how the engine works. Hearing this, the old man is quite impressed, and when the cook, she comes and asks what will happen to Chrome, and Senko then says that it's fine as long as he keeps his mouth shut, nothing will happen to him. If not, then Kua tells him that he is Chrome. Hearing this, everyone becomes worried and urges him to hurry up with the work because they know what he's like. After which, when Crow starts telling them about his science, everyone listens to it and then becomes disputers. After that, Yuka hangs him under a waterfall and tries to get him to talk, where he is very scared that now he is done. Then Suka says that he doesn't hate science. He doesn't know what block science has done using science, which is why he doesn't want to keep everyone alive, and he could join them. Hearing this, Chrome says that this is better than dying. This is exactly what they want to hear, right? But he isn't going to tell him any. So this, Sunkyoga says okay, when he hears and drops him down, which he accepts. Then Suka gives a faint signal, and Okyu a strike that hangs him by the leg, after which Suka rips out one leg and makes a bridge with it for him, and says that if he isn't even telling the truth at the time of death, they'll have to find out for themselves. So he asks Kyo where he met them. So then Chrome thinks he knows where those people came from, so they'll also learn about the cell phone. But Okyu tells the truth. He doesn't say it. He only says that he met those people at Miracle Cafe and maybe came for Flawed. Hearing this, Chrome wonders what's happened, but meanwhile, Senak finishes Thar's engine for himself. Seeing this, all the villagers are very impressed, and in this way, Senak rebuilds the world's very first steam engine again. And because he leaves the engine as it is, he then lets everyone get out of the way. But Magma for this, he doesn't agree and tries to stop it using his strength, but the engine is very powerful, so he can't stop it in the same interval. Those people put Chrome in the jail, where he says that this bamboo won't be able to stop. Just then, Yuga, looking dazed, asks if there is any reason to keep his mouth open, and at that moment, he suddenly notices something. After that, Asha falls, and for the first time tries his Thar, which is he was shaken. So after that, Asha Giri asks why he is trying, and Sanak says that it is because he is the only one who has a driving license. Then he says that with bamboo wheels, they will not be able to travel on this world's roads. After that, he comes and sees that the villagers have gone to work where they use Babu to make 4 big wheels, which makes all the boys happy, as the girls understand. No, she can't get it because brother, this is something for boys. But then the old man sits down and starts saying he doesn't know about Chrome. It will be in a state only when Koha comes and tells him about it. Then he says that they are not concerned about his condition, but rather that they are just arranging this. He is sad because he couldn't show it to her. After that, when everyone else leaves, the village elders come and start saying that all of them, they will stay because those people cannot go with, but those people say that if there's a danger from Sakasa, then they say that they're not worried about it because they have complete trust in him. After that, when they start to go, Kinro Asa begins to become jealous because he also wants to drive the Thar. So he says that's why he's advising, because he has come this way many times, and so he knows the roads well and where they won't fall into a pit, but they cannot avoid everyone. So when Thar gets stuck in a pit, when he leaves, they all pick him up after giving him a slap, only when they talk about giving more power. On hearing this, Sink suddenly feels something coming over him, after which they reach a place and decide decide to stop there, and Kuha starts watching them with a telescope, where she thinks he will first find the order. But then she sees Suika going there, where she thinks the sequence will spit on its detective form, and after it reaches him and spits on him, no one can see him. But he doesn't find Chrome either. Just then, Chrome notices Suika there, and recognizes her, and starts talking loud. So then, Suika also notices him. She then goes to the others and tells them about it, that there are a lot of guards there. Magma says that this means they'll just have to risk everything and attack. And hearing this, Senko also says that it's not a bad idea, and because he has a Thar, he could modify it and even turn it into a tank. The old man thinks he'll break, so he starts to settle, but he tells Sen that he's just going to upgrade. When he hears that, the old man gets motivated, and then they all ask how they will upgrade, because if he does that, then the place will become very empty. So Agri asks what he will do then. Sinak says he will make a paper tank. Hearing this, Agri loses hope, wondering what he's talking about, after which the children start collecting seeds, where they all specially collect pus seeds, which Shanak begins to boil in sodium hydroxide, after which he takes them all out, presses and dries them, and then the paper becomes ready. Seeing this, Asha becomes quite hopeful, but Magma tells her in a firm tone how he will do it with such thin seeds. Armor then took a sieve-like thing, placed the paper on it, and pressed. It gives off an appearance that leaves everyone amazed when they see it, but Kinro isn't impressed, and then he drops him with a single strike to the leg and says, if a good spearman can easily bring down a leg, how will someone in armor stop? Then Senko says that, why don't they try her once? Then the two of them get ready, which makes everyone gather to see, and when he attacks that other one, and when everyone sees him, they are astonished, after which Kinro sees that his spear is completely broken, but the seal wasn't much effect. Seeing this, nobody understands anything, but before they can answer, they start trembling. Then he says that actually he had made some layers of paper with plastic on it, which he has turned into some as strong and thin as carbon fiber, and after that they call Thar to modifies it, and also turns the Sonic engine into a double steam one. Then when Chrome starts to wait for them. Just then a man goes to the washroom, but another man stops him because he is Trev, seeing whom Chrome becomes troubled, and then he asks Yugashaka's about, to which he says that if they don't have gun, if there wasn't any powder, then those people might try to build a steam engine, and that's when he'd understand. It is revealed that he has taken Chrome into custody so that those people will come to rescue him, and he captures him, after which when they all start talking about using the vehicle again, he says that he will only use it to save Chrome, and here Chrome decides that he will save all of them using his science, because it is not his life but the others' lives that are in danger. After that he tells them his plan. He will go straight to Chrome, break him out of his prison, rescue him, after which they'll get out of there fast and furious. No one understands this plan, and here a quiet guy starts to get motivated, thinking he can stop because he knows they will surely come to save Chrome. He becomes motivated by hearing praise of himself and someone talking about him through a girl's mouth, and meanwhile Chrome escapes from jail. He starts making a plan where he thinks he will act like a fanatic, but that plan doesn't work for him. That's when Chrome sees that man beating his own army, after which we look into his past, where he was a police officer and had arrested some big politician and businessman, and when those people tried to shoot him and escape, he got so angry that he shot them dead, which caused him to be dismissed from the police force. And here in the present, he is very happy in the world because he won't have to do any such job here. And here, looking at Chrome, he thinks that with him around, he can't do anything, and here that guy starts praising himself. After that, Chrome calls a guard and tells him to go to the toilet, after which he goes there and collects some things, and when he comes to jail, he wonders what he can do with them, but he doesn't find anything useful to use, so he begins to worry. And then at night, when he falls asleep, that's when someone comes and takes his bat, gives it, and as soon as he finds it, he hides it inside himself and begins to think that perhaps Taiju and Yuya helped him, which later, after his guard falls asleep, he uses Betri in his room and burns it. When people see him, everyone starts coming to him, but then that policeman comes up, attacks him over there, and says that he set him on fire. He has seen him light it. When he asks how he started the fire, he says nothing, and then he notices some logs inside and thinks that maybe he ignited it with his help, so this saves Chrome's improvement. And after saying this, the man starts laughing, and seeing all this, he gets angry and is about to say something about the battery when he suddenly stops himself and plans that he will show them he is a fool, and after that, he begins to say even more things, hearing which all the guards start mocking him and laughing, after which they all leave. Then he says to Senak, he recalls the things about how he had made something better out of salt water, but there is no seawater around him, so he takes off his clothes, exercises at night, and starts collecting his sweat, and by morning, he collects a lot of sweat, after which he uses a battery to make something out of it, and then puts it into ropes and strangles the ropes. He gets out of there, and on the way, kills a guard he meets, uses an agri trick to get out of there, and because he has seen where their traps are, he gets out of there very easily. And here, when the police officer comes to see him in jail, he is astonished after seeing his exploits. And here, because of that trap, the others cannot follow him, but after going a little distance, he sees that the police officer chases after him, who is very fast, after which he reaches the end, and when he gets there, he tries to attack attack him from that side, but the man easily dodges and kills him and says whether he would like to go back or whether he should throw him here and kill him, when Chrome suddenly vomits a lot of blood and says he has a very serious disease that could spread. Saying this, he starts spitting the blood toward him, which makes him stagger, and at that moment both of his blind foreparts come off, and when he starts coming, Cook notices him and then brings him back, which everyone sees, and everyone becomes quite happy. Then he says that actually he had seen Suika coming along this path, so that's why he returned this way. Then people ask how Bud managed to escape from prison, and then he talks about his science, which, hearing it, Senku understands and says that he actually created a different chemical, which turned out to be correct. Just then Ruri sees blood coming from his mouth, so he pulls out even more blood, but actually it is fake, which he can mix in his mouth using some plasters and then spit out, after which everyone is very happy to have him back, and here the policeman is troubled. Then when Chrome tells them how someone had helped him, Senko says that Taju won't be of use, but Uj will be released. She might, but she would be busy with her own secret work, so maybe it could be someone else. They don't discuss this further, and just then Sen brings his Thar to Chrome's pea, from which Chrome, like every Nibba, becomes quite impressed, and because he didn't have to lose his Thar, he now decides that he will use it for his final battle, and that battle will be for the place of the miracle fluid. So everyone starts talking about it, but they don't have many people. So then he talks about his friends who are involved in this work, and now Ajagiri will have to do his job, which after Nikki's coaching has become quite good, but he will still need to be a little cautious because of UK. And here Mizuria and the rest and other people start bringing them in and singing to win them over, saying how those people are coming to save, so they think that Tsukasa won't be able to do anything against, so they need something else. There's no need to. But then she says it will take them a little time to get. So meanwhile, they all just stood around awkward, prevent him from breaking more statues and help Sanak because he has a pretty good idea. But after doing all this, Nikki is she is worried because they have now also become a threat to her. At that moment, Yoki chooses her and comes over to talk to them about it. When I say it, Ashigiri gets ready for it and talks to him. But okay, he recognizes her at once, and then she notices that he did recognize him, but spoke in English so that others wouldn't find out about it. And he does that even after listening to them. He did not attack them. After which, Senak realizes that it was Chrome who had his, when he was given the battery. He then says, yes, he was right, but he is not their witness. He is just watching the situation and trying to find out, wants to know what kind of people they are. And he has also seen their mission, after which we look into the past where he is with Yuzius. He goes back because he has a little suspicion about it. Then he sees that she quickly finishes making the clothes and takes them, which amazes them. After which he sees that she starts to go somewhere else. So he goes there and removes some stones and sets them aside. Then he understands that she is putting all the stones back as if Suka had done it, cause Shinnok had said that those people might be alive since people cannot die in stones. After which a man comes and tells Suka something, says that Chrome ran away, and then he asks how and where the policeman is. Then he says that he himself is the waterfall. He has knocked him down and killed him and has given his stone to him. Meanwhile, Oak is here with, he says that he wants to be their ally. Yes, they both get quite excited, but he says he has one condition. He wants that no person should die, and he wants to come with them, because when Tsukasa revived him and joined with, he had done it when he saw humans breaking the stone, which made him feel very bad, but he couldn't do anything. And he also stopped their kind of people from killing each other, but he failed to do anything against Suka. So he stopped thinking about him altogether, but he didn't want anyone to die. So if they promise him that no one will die, then he will side with, and if even one person. As soon as Mara said this, Sinok replied that he had actually also promised to end this fight without bloodshed. So this. On hearing that, he agrees, but then says he knows that when Yoga and some people had gone to their village and returned, he had said that those people had killed their people, but he knows he had lied and knows that one day the two of them will fight each other. Then here, Sinak mounts a cannon on his Thar, but they have gunpowder. If it doesn't exist, how will it work? Then he says he will use a rough leather sheet in which they will boil with water, create gas in it to fire the cannon, but they can do this only once, but maybe once will be enough to frighten everyone. After that, he starts talking about Taiju, and just then he arrives, and after years they all finally meet again, and now they are not alone. Exactly. Then Suka and Yoga appear in the gray. The policeman goes to pick up the stone when he notices the microphone there, which he grabs and removes, then looks at their cell phone, after which they all head to the miracle fluid instead, and begin watching the enemies guard. Then Oyo comes and says that Suksa and Yoka are in the grave, which is a little far away, and upon hearing this, everyone gets ready to fight, and they will have only 20 seconds left, after which the enemies will counterattack, and if that happens, the Shay people will be killed, and no one will kill anyone either. So after that, everyone gets ready and the Thar's engine starts. Then he fires the cannon, which contains a chemical that will immediately blast from the surrounding electricity. So the shell explodes, and now their 20 seconds begin, and they know there will be traps there, but still he starts heading straight toward where their traps don't work, and the enemies get scared when they see their Thar, because those are Jimmy's people, after which they all attack. They all start fighting together and begin to easily knock out and tie up the enemies. Then the tank falls right there on the road, and the enemies come to attack them from afar. But then Magma arrives and tells Sin that his time has come. So he takes out a copper plate, sticks a bomb on it, and blows it up. It emits such a powerful sound that it knocks enemies unconscious. When a girl starts looking at it, she becomes fascinated by it. She begins to tell Sa about it, but then Oak and Nikki stop her. And when two soldiers spot her, the others also take them away. But time is running out here, and Chrome cannot drop the second bomb, and a large number of guards come out from inside. Seeing this, Ty steps forward and inhales a huge amount of air, which causes he turns the sync plate toward, and it blasts Scylla's enemies away with great force. And right there, the time runs out. It ends, and everyone completes their mission. And finally, after years, they obtain the miracle fluid, which, because of winning, is why they tell all the Senk to celebrate. So he says he is happy, and now they have to make gunpowder, and Senk gets ready to make it. But then Yoga and Suka all arrive there, and Yoke tells them to run away from them. And then a spear attacks, and it falls straight onto the sink just then. Both of them arrive, which makes everyone start to fear what they will do next. But at that moment, Agri pulls his trick. Everyone starts to feel hope, but then the two break their cell phones and say that it was all a lie. When Asgari comes out, they find out everything. And later, when Yoga steps forward to say something, he says, yes, she knows that he will leave everyone if he dies. Hearing this, Taiju says he cannot lose him again. So then he laughs and says the situation was different last time, and he was alone then, but now he can see that they have many people. So then Gino says that yes, he was right. He had said that not a single person would die, so nobody will die. So everyone gets ready to fight with, and Kuha says, speak kingdom of, upon which they all attack them. And here the Sync and Chrome start to run inside, and part 2 of the fight begins. When everyone else begins to fight them, that Sync starts doing its job, but that Chrome comes out and begins to think about something, and then he starts sweeping things all around again. When both of them finish, Suka jumps up a bit, and Yuga starts attacking everyone. He then tells Nikki to take the plate and tell Tajo to stitch it. When Suka notices him and throws his spear at it, which 3 people have to join together to stop. Meanwhile, here Senk pushes Asha Gear to focus on her work, and the two of them mix some things and start experimenting. And here Gino gets up again and attacks him. He challenges him, but just then Kinro and Magma attack from behind, and here Cook begins fighting Yuga, but Sakasa easily defeats the 3 of them. And here Asha starts looking for fallen items, thinking maybe there's something useful she can use, but she finds nothing. Then Chrome comes and says he has some, and it's actually sulfuric acid, which had been left over from their cannon. So after getting it, Funetsu, Senk begins his work here. When Yoga begins to overpower Haku, she starts lecturing, but here Senk makes a very dangerous chemical, which makes everyone very afraid. But when Sakasa sets out to go there, Taiju stops him. At that moment, paper plane appears above them, and then we learn that Senk has actually created Dynamite's chemical, and that, when the plane hits a leg, a very big blast occurs there. So everyone stops when they see this, and here they all 3 get ready, each taking a plane, but Got says that they cannot harm them with paper, and just then when he stands and embraces him in his arms, do those people throw away their weapons? But Senak knows the fight is not over yet. Sakasa said it wasn't used here because, although the weapon is powerful, if he used it here, his people would also be harmed. He knows that if he goes, he's off to do something else. So then Senak says, yes, he was right. He's gone out to negotiate. And at that moment, Asha, Giri asks him if he had said that he met her for the first time at a show, but he is not the kind of guy who would do something like that. So that means he needed a lot of money. Only then does he say that he knows she is still alive. Hearing this, Suka gets a glint of interest, and then we look at his surroundings where his childhood was not at all good, which is why he started fighting from a young age. Doing so, he became very skilled, quite a few. He had also earned money, but his sister's condition was very bad, and her operations kept going on. So then Senak says that maybe he can heal her back. Then Tsukasa asks what he wants in return. Then Senak says that in return, he only wants that the fighting stop. So he asks why he should believe him. Then Senak says that in the name of science, he will never call it impurity. So he agrees to this, and after the fighting ends, everyone goes to their own places. And here, Senak and Tsukasa, they start making a fluid together, after which they all go to wash Suka's sister, where he says this is just a ceasefire. Everyone starts digging stones out of the soil, after which, finally, Suka finds his sister there, and then when Senak goes out to revive her, Taiju stops him because she wouldn't be wearing clothes. And here, Ujiya very quickly makes a dress for her, after which, Senak pours the fluid on her, and she begins to slowly burst open, which astonishes the villagers who see it, and Yijuria begins to pray for her and tells Sen that she will surely be fine because his revival fluid will definitely work, after which, when the stone dissolves, Sukasa's sister comes back to life, healthier than before, and begins to speak with her elder brother, which makes Tsukasa extremely emotional and gives Kuha this feeling. Can understand too, because she had worked just as hard for her sister. Then when they all return, Yuga comes to Mirai and says that there are still stones on her, so go and wash in the river. And here when Chrome starts counting the dynamite, he says that some dynamite is missing. After that, when Suika comes to see Hamra, there is no guard there at all, because those people had put them to work. After that, when the screw appears whereas here, there is no guard there because the ones who hired them for the job, it's useless, and she sees him there. From there, he ran away from us. And then we see nearby where the police person was when Chrome was spitting in the jungle. He met him there and told him to steal him when the right time came because Yuga's real mission is something else. As he said this, there was a big explosion in the present, and it was actually the miracle fluid that exploded and shattered the whole fort. And there they see Hurrah. As soon as he sees it, Asha's hope falls, and Sen realizes whose doing it is. So he starts to run, and hearing this, Suka goes to look at it. He climbs up and then comes to Sen and tells him to stay away from him. And at that moment, Yoga attacks his sister, to save whom Suka comes forward and takes the spear onto himself, after which he throws him. But then Sen steps forward and catches him, so he throws him too, after which when everyone else arrives there, he also. Seeing this, Kuha also tries to go down, but her father stops her because the current of the water is very fast, after which they all say they will go down to search for them. And then when they reach the shore, Yuga says that because there is no longer any wetness ahead of them, he wants to discuss something with this. Hearing Senko says that he is not interested in it, so then he says that yes, he knows, but he wants to say this, that he and Suka aren't exactly the same, but one thing they both think is that there's no need to bring all the people in this world back to life. Then Sink says that he doesn't like this idea at all, and then he says that yes, but he also knows that this planet cannot sustain so many people together in this condition, and if the people who are reviving them can't do anything, then they'll have to feed them, so they will become a burden to. So then Sanak says yes, but he doesn't like the idea. If this Earth can't feed all people, then he will make it worth feeding, because that's what science does. Then he says he knows, but if they work with him, they can together select which people in the world to revive. Saying this, he strikes his hand and says that he will start cutting off each of his fingers, after which he will go to his legs, because he tortures people like this to get his work done. It will, because that's what science does. Then he says that he knows, but if he works with it, then the two of them together will change the world. Whoever needs to be reviewed can select. They say that he puts it in his hand and says that he will do it. One finger will be cut off, and then he will go into its leg because he gets his work done by torturing such people. Then he sees that Tsukasa is alive, so he begins to attack him with stones, and just then, Tsukasa stands up again and attacks him back. He says that he had promised Senak that he would protect him. He did break that promise, but this time he vows that he will keep. So Yuka says that means he will now have to kill both of them. Hearing this, Tsukasa and Sen tell him to join together to attack. Then Yuga also attacks, after which the two of them. And Sen says to meet him there and attack him. Then Yuga also attacks, after which both they start fighting. And just then the soldier does his job and signals him. So he jumps up and then he sees that there is gunpowder under his feet, which the soldier lights. But he easily extinguishes it by taking off his clothes, after which he immediately attacks the soldier again. Then Suka starts fighting him again, but he cannot defeat him because his condition is bad. The soldier comes back to him and says he can defeat him with a single finger. When he then sees that his finger, something is inside and he has put something on him. Then he says that he himself broke the phone and helped to fix it, which he has turned into a transformer. So after hearing this, when he tries to leave, Suka suddenly grabs him and Senak gives him a hobby of hodgepodge, knocks him out there, and as soon as he sees him, Homra arrives. So then everyone else comes to stop him and they catch him. Then they all see that, which Senak is absolutely fine. He asks how long he will keep them capped. Then Sink says that when he makes more advances in science, he will be the strongest person no longer. And now, because there are more people with them, they will all be able to finish the work even sooner. So everyone here begins to work together. And after that, they revive a wanted artist who, upon waking, hears reality and becomes shocked and distressed. So to release his frustration, Asha gives him a pencil and he gives the paper because this person can bring all those things back through the story. Then a policeman also comes here and tells them to help. So they all agree to this and he starts working. But here Suka's condition becomes very bad. And then he begins to tell the locations of all those stones, which he starts to write to him. Then he asks whether he knows about each one that he tore. And then he says, yes, he remembers each one. Then he gives this news to the people of Chrome Village here, after which this scene starts to be made. It seems that Agri asks what he is making, so he answers, which, when heard, no one can understand anything. So he says that he is making a glue that can close the wound of any wounded person. Then Askari asks whether this can also heal the dry wound. Then he says, yes, but it can only close it. It cannot create the org. Then he comes and says that she starts looking at him petrified. And then Yajer comes there and her. When she collides, she says that those people told her to stay outside. Then the old man sees her and tells her to come inside, where he sees that Sen is starting to operate on it. So Agri asks how he can do that without anesthesia. Senak says he doesn't need. Then Suka, a little troubled, says yes, he was right. Hearing this, his sister faints. When it happens, he says that to save her, they can petrify her. When they can file charge, then Senk says that he will have to figure this out, which may take a lot of time. And to do that, he may have to kill Sakasa with his own hands. He is not going to murder. He will just freeze him like Captain America. But does that require him to trust that other person? He will do it. Then he says yes. He has has complete faith in that stranger, after which the rest of the people begin to do their work, watching which the army is stunned because they had been living like wild people without all this for so many days. When people ask what Senko is making, he says he is making a refrigerator. Hearing this, everyone loses their senses, after which he begins to explain to them how it works. Then he tells them that if they can make a petrified beam, so they can petrify their food and regenerate it to eat whenever they want, and if he wants to bring everyone back to life, they'll have to do this. Then they all make fridges, and then the old man throws them out. When people ask why he's doing that, he says he doesn't want them to see someone dead. After that, everyone comes outside, and then Senko and Suka start talking together. And meanwhile, all the people here, they start working, and along the way, some things begin to be asked for. And in the end, Suksa says that they were all very nice. He enjoyed it very much and says that he faints. So then she fizzes him and eats him right where his sleeping sister promises that she will come to see him every day and take care of him. And after that, they gather everyone where Senk tells them that how they had petrified. So he will have to figure them out and his death. And his team left them this information before leaving, that it started from the other side of planet Earth. So they have to go there. Then those people say, how could those people go so far? Then they say that the old people used to go like this, but they were all very strong. Then Sinak says that those people are shipbuilders who helped a lot in discovering the world. If they had heard this, all the people would have been ready for their new mission. But in reality, it was just their plan now. But those people were on the ship, but they just keep making. But to run the ship, Sen needs a person who can blow the fire. Sen has to go find someone whose navigation skill is very good. He goes to an island with friends where his friend lines up a lot of stones that they cannot revive because they don't have much miracle fluid left since it was destroyed in the previous part. While watching, the reporter girl Minami meets a man who starts refusing to revive. So people ask who he is. So then she tells them about how he used to spend all his money on his own whims, on buying models because his father had a lot of money and ran a shipping business. So in middle school, his father got him a ship which he became the captain of, and he would travel the world with it having fun. Hearing all this, everyone is impressed, but Minami doesn't want them to revive him because he's a bit strange. So she suggests finding someone else. But here Senk pours that other fluid on him because he just needs some talent, a person. After which his stone slowly begins to crack, and that guy's name is Risui Nanam, whom we'll call Ria. And as soon as he returns to being human, he says he's back. Now the whole world will be in his fist. Hearing all this, everyone begins to think that Mina was actually right, after which Bon asks if they were the ones who saved, to which instead he says he will give a check for 10 million, but then clarifies in real life that he is not in a position to do so right now. After that, he starts to guess that all civilizations have ended, to which Senko says yes, and then he begins very enthusiastic, saying that now this world will be his, after which Nanami lets him put on clothes. Then when they show him the ship being rebuilt and bring him to see it, he gets very excited, but Ashikari says that that was in their time. When they show them being made, they get very excited by looking at, but Asakari says that they are from their era. He used to navigate advanced ships, so he doesn't think he could do this in this era. But then he just looks at the weather and says that a storm is coming here in a little while, and he actually turns out to be right, because afterwards people's feet begin to get tired from the ropes, and then he looks at those feet and says that these feet aren't strong enough for them to travel the whole world with. So then Senk says that yes, he knows, because of which he is going to make a motor cell hybrid. People could travel the whole world with them. Then Senk would say, yes, I know why they are making motor cell hybrids. Senke gets happy to hear it, but then he says they'll need oil to run them. And hearing this, Agri becomes worried because they won't find oil in Japan. So then Senke tells him about a place where oil can be found, and Chrome gets excited to search for it because he's very skilled in this. So he takes Kuhaku and Yuku with and sets out to look. After they leave, Ryu, in return for their help, he asks them to give him the entire share of the oil. Hearing this, Agri says that he will not give, but Sinak agrees to it. So after he agrees, he very quickly makes money and starts selling his oil, even though they never actually received the oil. Selling the oil, the man very rapidly becomes rich because business is in his blood, and before long, people begin to use his currency. After that, when Ria goes to buy him because of his power, he refuses her outright, gives and says that these papers have no value because no oil has been found yet. Then Rio says that they are fully confident that those people will be able to spit it out, after which his currency will become real currency. Meanwhile, Chrome's team finds a waterfall, and after going there, they see Mount Fuji. So after, they inform the base of all this by calling, and upon hearing it, the others are unable to understand anything. But Senk tells them that when Mount Fuji erupts, the people around there have to run away from it, and their loin shifts a little this way, that when it gets caught, and until they must have turned to stone. By then, Mount Fuji had perhaps erupted 3 or 4 times, which I had mapped. If it's already been sent, that means they'll have to make a new map, and they start thinking, how could they make it? And just then Suvika sees a bird and says that if those people could fly like it, then maybe people watching from above could make. Hearing this, Sanak got an idea, after which he would quickly do something special to them. He says something about it, but those people say that most people are busy building the ship, so how could they do that? Senko says that now it's time for them to use rizz money. So here, when Ye and everyone else think of themselves as money, upon finding it, they become very happy. But then Agri comes up to them and says that it seems they aren't going to get the oil. So they're this. The money will just remain a piece of paper. But if those people help them, they can find them upon hearing this. Everyone gets to work because money talks, might. After all that storytelling, he calls them hot air. When he hears they're going to make balloons, that old man gets very excited. But he thinks this will cost too much for that. There's no need. And if those people ask Yujia for help in making it, then she would do it for that. Is considered a cast, after which she lets them make rimas to have clothes stitched for them that she thinks she will be small. But the son and the old man make her seem much big, and then she makes clothes. But everyone gets very tired doing this. So Yuria Senk asks Daimitar and puts everyone back to work. And very quickly, everyone together makes the balloon. And because only 3 people can go in the balloon, and because Senk knows how it works, he will go. So they will need 2 more people, and they need someone who can look at the wind and tell the direction. So he calls Taiju Ryu, but Asgari stops him and refuses because he knows that he is free. If he won't work, Senko lets him use his trick. So he starts taking out lotteries for everyone where he cheats. He first defeats Ryo, who was very confident he would win. Then he makes it look like he himself won, but he is not happy about it. So seeing this, Ryo angrily buys that card from him. And then when it's the third person's turn, Chrome comes running because he needs to fly up and wants to see whether this world is really round. When he sees the card, when he comes out, he sees that he has won, and the guy becomes very happy. After that, everyone tags a small balloon, and they rise up into the big balloon, and then morning comes. So the view from above is quite amazing, and seeing it makes Chrome very emotional. After that, when they start flying like this, Ryo says that he will have to use his knowledge to reach the finish line. And hearing this, Chrome asks what they mean by their finish line. Then they both explain that they are all finishing in the same village. And on hearing this, Chrome is stunned because they will reach there in just 2 hours, while it takes them 2 days to get. But to get there, they will have to use the wind. So Ryo begins to talk about getting there using his knowledge. However, on the way they encounter a storm, and there they see that their balloon has burst, after which they get caught in that storm, from which they have no way out. So Chrome talks about making a fire. Both of them are astonished to hear that, because his method might actually work. So they all set about making the fire bigger, and as the fire burns, they begin to rise higher, and after a while, they all come up above the storm cloud. And after some time, they reach near the village. So Kuhak sees them and informs the others that they have arrived. When they all come close, Ryu can see that the people there are like Chrome, not from their era. Sink tells him about, after which Kuha and Yu take Ryu to show the village, and then Crom brings them to the balloon. He asks Seelane for help, after which the villagers give him very good directions. But Ryo, seeing he doesn't get happy, and Senak asks him how many days they will be staying. So he says 1 or 2 years. And hearing this, the man, worried, says he will spit out the oil very soon. The next day, they all set about making the maps. And during this time, they find a goat to eat, which makes Ryu very happy to have found. But the villagers become very emotional upon getting it, because they rarely get to eat such a thing. So hearing this, the next day, Ryu asks them that their village is thousands of years old, but is still small, and that maybe it's because of the food, right? So she says there that yes, before his birth, their village used to be very prosperous. But after that, people started dying because they weren't finding fish in the sea. Hearing this, Senk says that they will need agriculture to grow. So all this, hearing, Ryo agrees to help them, but in reality, he is just thinking about making money rather than having good intentions. After that, they all set out to wash the grain's food, and after searching for a little while, they find a large natural source of seeds. When they find the farm, as soon as they get there, they put it to work, after which they bring all the people to the village, and when they start taking them out, Ryo tells them that he will make many things out of it, but Chrome asks if just that, he will be able to do all that. And Ryo replies that for that, they will need to farm, where they can use that same T in the middle to farm. But there are many hills around the village, so they will need flat land to do the farming. If there won't be any problem with water, they decide to work near the Sakasa base, and then Kuha calls the others to help her, after which they all begin working on the farming. But because the work is hard, get tired very quick, so to help them, Yujia gives Ashagiri a cap she had made, but when he sees it, he starts to ask whether she made it for the Food King. Whoever works the most will be the Food King here. And on hearing this, everyone, they get motivated, and especially Makma and Yu dive into work and start working a lot. But because of doing so much work, they both fall asleep as soon as night comes. But if Agar and everyone else can see here that Taiju is still working, then when Nikki lets him race, he says it's okay, he can do it, and he is actually motivated because his parents were killed when he was a child. So he knows what it's like to live without parents, which is why he cares for everyone. He wants to revive families who will very much need food to be revived. So that's why he wants to get the food ready. A few days later, they see that Taiju have grown in the fields, but here Magma and UV's farm, nothing happens, which makes both of them start to feel sad. But seeing him, Taiju pours chemicals into their soil, and here he gives them a science test that I believe everyone did in school. Later, when they find out about the soil, Those people add the chemical they made from sea salt. So after that, everyone's wits grow. And then Senk, Rio, and Chrome come to see them. And seeing this, Senk decides to revive everyone. And there is even more weight added. But when those people make bread, it is not good at all. But Kuha and Chrome don't know that, so they really like it. So for that, Rio demands a cook. But Sanak says they don't have any flute. Then Rio says he knows someone must have definitely hidden it from. So Ryu directly calls Nanami and starts asking her about the fluid. But she says that later she asked how it would be fluid. And then Sagari takes the phone and starts acting as if they're planning to give her something in exchange for it, and that in return, she would just have to give them that fluid. So when Agar tells her about that thing in her ear, she agrees and takes it out for them and gives them the fluid and Rio. They give him a face to revive a person. He goes to the same place where they found Ryu, and there he finds the person whom they revive. And as soon as they revive him, he puts his clothes on and asks them about Ryu, and then spits and immediately goes out. And 2 days later, he spits at Rio and directly asks about that bread. Everyone is stunned as soon as they see, and she is not happy at all to see that bread, after which she herself gets ready to cook and asks what kind of food they will need. Then Senak comes and says they will need some food that will last long. If she finds out, she asks how many days, so Rio calculates and tells her that at least 10 months. Hearing this, she agrees to work. When she gets stuck, everyone else pitches in to help, and when Rio and Senk help her, she starts teaching them how to cook, after which she makes the bread, puts it in the oven, and from its smell alone, Chrome and they all get very excited, and when she makes the breath, everyone eats it. They become very happy because they've never eaten such food before. So when everyone starts praising her, she explains to them a process by which they can make the breath. But this makes Nana very angry, and she starts saying that she needs the thing she was asking for very soon. But to make that thing, he says they will need the old man, but it will take him time to come. However, the old man says he was getting very bored, so he will arrive there soon, after which people in the village hear that something is coming, and then they see that the old man has restored the car there, and he shows up with Nanami wearing lone drops, looking exactly like Daddy, and comes up to Senku and asks what he should make. When Senku tells him, he hears it and the clothes get mild. Far motivated, after which Senku-san, by using chemicals, he creates a glittering mirror that leaves Chrome astonished. But Minami isn't very happy, and then Senk says that this mirror is actually needed to make the sasu she was asking. After that, combines the mirror with some other things and rebuilds the world's first camera and gives it to her, which makes Baku Nanami very happy because her favorite thing is what she used to report on. But then this son gets a lot of cameras. They take it because they need to take photos from above, for which he was actually already thinking about making the camera. After that, when Nana suggests taking photos, Rio tells her to buy it, where he decides that Senak will be his model, after which he starts posting her in different dresses, which the others absolutely do not like. So Nana tells him to post properly, which the others cannot even imagine how that could be. And then Francis to him. When she tells him to post like the most famous scientist, he posts some, after which they and Ryu go up in a balloon from above to take pictures of the ground. While taking photos here, Chrome and Old Man start making photos where they are the first to take a photo of Sink, in which there is a post like Einstein's. The next day, when they again start taking photos from above, seeing them, the Agra ground team goes down to the ground. He sends someone to see things, and because there are so many photos, everyone gets upset when they see them. When Chrome starts looking for oil, he can't find it, but here the Old Man and the others get some help with food because of those photos. Meanwhile, Taiju is also getting ready to harvest his crops. After they get food, Rio talks about opening a restaurant, so the friends respond to this. She agrees and tells Sen that yes, they need it because the people are exhausted from coughing and sneezing. They are very tired from coughing and sneezing, so they need some good protein-filled food. But Rio wants something tasty, so then Agar says that he has some ingredients for this and offers to take care of it, which he will. She agrees and says that she is calling an expert who knows everything about the things around the village. Hearing this, those people cannot understand anything about who she is. And just then, Iqbal comes out of there, after which she sees some things in the photos and goes to search that place where she thinks there might be a boar. When she goes there and sets a trap to catch, she captures Kuku too and brings him. And after bringing him, those people open a farm, but they will also need Tarfula. When France says that all of that is found where the boars live. So upon hearing this, Kabak starts searching in the photos to look for it, but they can't believe she could find it like that. Still, she says that maybe she has found it. So when Saku goes and looks at that photo, seeing it, he is astonished and says that this is actually not what he was searching for. This is even better than, and those people were after this because it could actually be Sakura oil. As soon as she says this, everyone goes off to search for him, but those people can't tell where he is just by looking at footprints, so they each go and search for him separate. Meanwhile, here Francoise talks about how she will use a boar to find him because they know how he smells, but as soon as it finds him, it starts eating him. So after that, Suka sets her two to work, who after a while give them the footprints. They get what they needed, but when the others couldn't find the location of that oil here, Sinak started thinking about where he remembers that Franz had said that boars knows how it smells, and as soon as as he remembers this, he begins to ask the others if they remember how they got the first sakura oil with Borz's help during this. When Francois pay, then she notices that he is smelling very bad, and just then, Senken. The others all come and stop him, after which he lets it go. Then when he tries to run away, everyone else starts chasing after him for a while, and after some time, they all run and reach the place where that sakura oil is. So he takes it in a bottle to show Masi by burning, and when it starts to burn, they all become happy seeing this, because now they have found the oil. Everyone quickly builds a machine to extract oil, which makes everyone happy. But here, the needle becomes trouble because a French woman is going to cook that boar, but she says it smells very bad, so she is not going to cook. Hearing this, she becomes very happy, and after a few days, they make a small bath to test it. Seeing this when Asagari is astonished, then San begins to tell him about the engine even though he doesn't even ask him about it. After that, he gets ready to test, and just then, Taiju and Crom also arrive. So after pouring in the oil when he starts it, it runs extremely fast, and while running like that, they even go out to sea where they all begin to share. But then Crom becomes worried because now he doesn't know where those people came from, and they are going even farther away. So how will they know where those people came from and where they're going? Then Rio, he says it's okay, they have a device, but Sen isn't confident about taking it, so that's why he talks about making a siege. That will tell them the location 100% for sure of where those people are. Hearing this, they don't understand any, so then he says that he is the one who makes GPS. Hearing that, the three of them are stunned, after which the old man builds a tower, so when Ska turns it on, then Hokia. When it transmits a signal, Chrome goes to talk to the people in the village, but then Oki suddenly notices something that it is, sending them a signal that is not natural at all, meaning that it is really someone and that people notice that it is signaling them in Morse code, which is W. Hearing this, everyone becomes a bit startled, but here Senak gets excited to meet them. Then the next day, the brightest minds living there gather together and start thinking about that device which turned all the people into stone. They discuss who could be behind it as they speculate whether it could be a person or some organization watching, because they really don't know whether Senak was awakened by someone or he revived naturally. Senak decides that he will make a device to see them, so he uses his powerful party, which in no time makes him a powder, which he puts into a flux and has the old man spread it well. So he spreads it and then adds some things there and installs a switch so that when the needle is turned on, it activates as soon as it's switched. Below the flux appears a green colored dot, which looking at it, one can't make anything out. He then explains that this is actually a cathode ray tube, which when he says will be used for the GPS device's display, they get confused hearing that it will work with gas. So he explains to them that when it moves the data with speech, it will form a line, after which it will be his speech. He mixes it well and can make something like an old-fashioned TV, but they ask how he will move. So Sunko says to them it's from crystal metal, after which he starts explaining to them with some science about how this will work, and then he attaches some things and makes a line. Seeing this, everyone is very impressed because making a TV is really a very difficult task, after which he tweaks it a bit and moves the line slightly. The moment they see it, they understand that it is actually a radar, which if they use with a microphone will give them an underwater radar, and if used outside, it can also pick up outside signals, which they can use on both the inside and outside of the boat. Then, when they start using it in a boat and go into the water, only then does Chrome, looking at the screen, fail to tell whether this is your line or mine. Then he explains to him that it means there's something underwater, after which Rio casts the net, and in a single throw catches many fish when they all bring them back. As soon as they arrive, Francis makes a nice plan with those fish. After that, Sana asks Ukyo if there's any problem with their radar because the guy used to do this work. So then he says no, but to use it, they'll need a lot of batteries. So then Cinco says there's no need to worry about that because they're going to build many generators on the ship. Hearing this, the old man becomes very excited, but he says that this won't be something made of wood, and because it will be very large, they'll need a lot of material for it. So Cook and the others set off to find. He didn't get much then, but during this time, Chrome here uses it with a bamboo tied to a coal as a radar, looking toward the iron, seeing that it works like this. And once he realizes that, he runs to the place where they had used lightning to make that first steel sword. So he enters the mountain's cave and uses his metal detector to look around, but he finds nothing. Just as he meets him, he suddenly receives a signal from inside the gorge. So he puts him into the bamboo and, with the help of a rope, lowers himself down to look, where he finds many signals. As soon as this becomes clear, the others also get into the car, and Taiju goes inside and begins to jump. And in no time, they turn that cave into a mine. After doing this, Crom becomes very confident, and after that, they also get a lot of resources. People turn that cave into a mine. Doing this, Chrome becomes very confident, after which they also get a lot of resources. They meet, but while doing all this, those people get very tired, and then everyone else starts asking how this can be made easy, and that they will have to take it very far. Then Sync says that they know that many people have come to them now, so they have already found people to work on some other project as well. As soon as he says this, the old man brings some iron rot, and and then gets on with his work. Then when Asha fell and Yuk was in the car on the upper, news starts coming in that they are coming along the road, and then the two of them see in front of them that those people are making a road using oil where they had early boiled the oil and poured it onto the road, and a powerful team hammers it to make a path at that time. So after making, they all start to leave easily in their vehicle, and after that, when they reach near the water, some people begin to wait for them because those people will now use boats to carry those things there. After doing all this, Agri and Ria return. When it comes to mind, they are surprised to see it there because they have even made a mind card there where Sink and Anne, everyone else there, starts having a great time, and with that, he completely paves the way for his net. But after that, when he came there and the old man looked at his ship, he began to say that he had what was planned is not happening at all, so perhaps he won't be able to complete it. Seeing this, Sink says it's okay. They can keep trying again and again after losing, but they fear it will take too much time. So then he says that, yes, he hadn't thought about the time at all, and after that, he just decides to create a small consciousness awareness where only a few select people can go. Hearing this, everyone else becomes very upset. Just then, Rio arrives, after which we look into his surroundings to see how, because of him, his family was very troubled. But Francis alone knew that what he was like, and that never gave up. He used to operate advanced ships in his modern day. Even so, he was actually more interested in the old ships, which he used to build as sleeping models himself. So he later says that he is a model maker who can inspire people to make them bigger. And then Senk asks if he can really make it, and he says yes, he definitely can. After which, when they begin working on the ship there, Minami they start taking photos. Then Rio makes them his model, after which they only have to measure it and scale it up, for which Senak builds a device where when you draw something small, it becomes very large. So after making all this, they all ask what else they will need, and Senak says that now they will just need time because they have to make not only the ship's body, but also machines inside it. Then a few months later, when the cold season comes, they start enjoying themselves in the snow. They can't work at that time because after that, the monsoon season arrives and Valentine's Day also comes, when they make and eat chocolates, after which they all return to work, and then one day, everyone goes into the forest to look for silk because they will need silk too. But Waijuria also makes swimsuits for them, and wearing those, they all go enjoy themselves on the beach. Minami takes photos of all these things to add to her collection, and then when the shift ends, then Minami tells everyone to take photos, and they ask how many photos she will take, and she becomes emotional and says she doesn't know whether they will all stay together because some people are going to leave for me. So she goes to take photos of everyone, and everyone agrees to this, and then they all take photos together where we see their boat for the first time. Then they all launch the ship into the water, and as soon as they do, everyone, they get excited to go searching, after which Rio goes to the ship and starts calling everyone on his own, and calls himself Cap, saying this mission is going to be very dangerous, so if anyone doesn't want to go, they can say so now. Then he begins calling people one by one, and when he calls Gunner, he is very frightened, so he tells him that if he doesn't want to go, he can stay here, after which, when they all go upstairs, there they see that those two villains are also there, whom they couldn't keep, because if they had kept them here, then it's possible they would get out of prison, and if they got out, they know what they would do, so that's why they bring them onto their ship. But Gain's name isn't there, so he starts to be happy, but in the end, they also call him, which makes the man distressed, but then he comes to the bottle, after which they all start to leave from there. They say goodbye to everyone else and leave, but Kinro doesn't go. After they leave, he can't stop himself, and as soon as they're gone, he jumps into the water though. Actually, he's doing it just to be the hero, where he knows they won't be able to hear him, and when he comes back, he will tell those girls that he tried very hard, but they couldn't hear him, so this will make him a hero, and then he will remain the king of this place. But here, Sint tells them to turn the radar back, and as they do, they immediately get a signal from Kinro, and seeing it, Taiju quickly goes to fetch him and brings him back very soon, so everyone starts cheering him up, which makes the poor fellow very distressed. Then when they ask where their first Dashni is going to be, Sink tells them that they are going to Treasure Iron, so they ask where that is, and he tells them that it is the place where his date and his party are actually supposed to be, had done it, and that was also where their village began. Then when people started going there, Senak tells them to awaken all the people of Earth, but they ask how he can do that because they don't have the miracle since the cave was completely destroyed. Then he says that he actually won't be using any natural method, and that is why those people are going to that island, because there they might find some kind of treasure box that will be nothing short of a hoard. Everyone gets motivated upon hearing this, after which we look nearby where Zink's date and the rest one by one placed all the medals on that island because Zink was certain of death and believed someone would surely come looking. This truth saddens Shank. Everything is revealed by the stories they have been passing down for years, but the tale becomes so long that it takes 2 days and 2 nights to listen to, and in that very story he finds the platinum medal. It turns out to be very rare, a sink that can extract a large amount of miracle fluid from just a tiny piece. Who those people will be able to revive all the people of the world, but those people ask why that CJ person lasted for so so many thousands of years, how he would still be the same as he was. Then he's that they have used seals that are very strong and that he can keep it inside for thousands and millions of years. And that is their spaceship when they all begin to talk. And then a man overhears their conversation and walks away in a daze. After that, when he tells Agri something, then Agri calls Sinak, and only then does Sinak notice him and ask who he is and what his name is. The others then say that actually he doesn't have any name, so he replies that it's fine. They can call him whatever they like, after which he tells them that actually he isn't from here at all when he used to sleep. Then he came to this island from the water, where upon arrival he met a lady who raised, but then he says that his name is perhaps actually Soyuz, and maybe he could take them to that island where perhaps he could take them to where the treasure box is. Hearing this, everyone becomes very happy, and Senko also says that his words make it seem like he is telling the truth, and if he is right, then that could mean he is actually one of the people. But Chrome, all of this. Hearing this, he can't make sense of anything and asks where those people could possibly have come from. But when he tells all this to Senkruri in the village, he guesses that they are actually distant relatives of his, because they had also taken in some people to live there. Then those people will guess that perhaps something like that happened, where some villagers were there. They had come out, and when everyone started talking about it, that's when Chrome says, could it be that the person who had turned everyone into stone, could he be from there? Hearing this, everyone falls into thought, because maybe he could be right. And here Sif, angry, asks, is this true? But when he frightens him, he asks for forgiveness, after which Soy begins to say that actually he had tried to go there, but because of the storm, he couldn't reach there, and he still wants to go and see that his real car is like, and now with the help of this ship, he might be able to go there then. Senak says yes, he was right, after which, when Yujuria starts talking about the ship, the other girls warn her that they will get overly excited to tell us, and she is actually right, because on hearing this Sin, Rio, an old man come, and very excited about the ship, eagerly go to show it to her. How did they manage to make everything the same, from food supplies to the science lab? After a while, some people begin to vomit because of staying on the ship, so Sen uses a bandage to help and prepares a medicine that, once taken, makes them active again. But shortly after, they have to face a storm, in which Rio remains very calm, because he has experienced such storms many times before. But then he sees Sen running, goes and tells them that this storm could be an opportunity for them, because those people don't know what the people of that island are like, so they can use this storm to infiltrate that island. So everyone gets to work for them. And after going some distance, they begin to see the island, and the moment Soyu sees it, he remembers that this is where he was from, and Senk gets excited seeing that island. Just as they are about to arrive there, they are about to land when they get ready for it, but they have to hide their chip, so they slip in from behind to go. They all start deciding who will go, because they cannot all go together, so Ryu decides to go there. Senak listens to Kukusaya's and Ashigiri, after which they set off there from Sodeba. But after they arrive, they ask about Oak, and then Asgari says that he is the one watching that radar, where she is busy seeing everything that is under the sea, and only after they leave does she take out Ryosuika, because she knew that she would go with them, and when she started to become sad, everyone would come to console her. And during this, here, when Okia looks under the sea and sees that there is something there, he tells someone to go inside. Hearing this, Jinro sets out for that, because the man does not want to do the cleaning, so when he goes underwater, he sees some stones there and gets scared, but then he thinks that he has seen many stones, after which, when he moves on, when he tells them about it, Oki is surprised, but they ask. He says that there's nothing surprising about it. Then he says that the island was actually empty, so where did all these stone people come from? Just then, Rio notices that someone is watching, after which Sei notices that maybe he saw some. Then when he looks back through the ship's telescope, he is astonished at what he sees, so Asgari takes the telescope from him to look, and he too is astonished because everyone there has turned back into stone. Suka lives here alone because she had escaped from the ship. During this time, Coop and Senak separate from each other and move ahead, where she sees that maybe someone was there when the two of them start talking that. Just then, Agri comes and tells them about it, and upon hearing this, both of them are surprised, after which Kuha sets out to go save them, but Agri stops her by taking her by the foot with a pawn. When she asks why, what is all this? Then he explains that if she goes there, she might turn into stone too. But listening to them, Suyash begins to say that he doesn't remember at all what happened, though he remembers a little glimpse that they were running away from someone. So then they, without dwelling on that, start talking about a solution that if they find a person who wants to avoid becoming stone, he might be able to take them as far as Platt. And after that, when he starts talking about the fallen cell, he says someone must have definitely knocked it down and left, after which Senku took out some chemicals, boiled them, put that cell on, and turned it blue. Light, where he finds a fingerprint that, upon seeing it, Senak immediately says this must be a girl whose height and weight are average, after which he lets Agri do his work and then begins to guess that maybe she is a young woman. After that, after searching there for a while, they find a hair, and upon finding it, Sen gets to work with his science, where he also takes help from Kuku. After that, Sanak looks at it under the microscope and tells them where she might live. So as soon as this is discovered, toward Koha, sets out to find, and after going a short distance, they come across that girl. But now, what will they do? Because they don't know whether she is a friend or an enemy. But they cannot just stand there looking at her, so Synak suggests going to meet her. But just then, some boys come and propose to her, which makes them stop because they want to see what will happen. And here the girl very emotionally says that tomorrow, actually, their mother will be made the master, Bright, and they know what happens to those who don't listen to her. So hearing this, everyone leaves very sorrowful, and on hearing this, the soldiers realize that a master lives there and that the girl could help them. But Agri begins to say that he has to take care and go to her. But before he can say this, Senak goes to meet her, yet the girl does not recognize him. And seeing this, Cuckoo starts coming to scare him, after which when Agri asks Suyu about some master, the moment that girl hears his name, she starts clinging to him, which makes the man so happy that he faints. Only then does he learn that she is actually not any master, and when Cuckoo says that this is Senak, as soon as she hears that he has a mother, the girl moves closer to him. This girl turns out to be Gold, but none of this really works on the set, because the man is sick, and after that, when they all start talking like this, she hears that something is happening there. So on hearing that, the girl named Irale runs to the place where some guys are getting ready to protest against their master. Seeing them, she becomes upset. So to stop them, Senak takes out a guest arrow, and if they attack again. Seeing all this, the girl asks who all those people are, and then she remembers that they were talking about turning into stone. So she tells them that she actually knows how people turn into stone, and for that reason she became the most beautiful girl in her village so that she could stop all this. Then she asks if they will help, after which we see 5 years earlier where some friends of Emerald S. If I were to ask about it, then she would tell me that she actually knows how people find stones. They are born, and for this reason, she becomes the most beautiful girl in Vaughn's village so that she can stop all of them, and she asks if they are people. In this, we will help. And then we see 5 years ago where some friends of Emerald AS, they had gone for a walk in the sea where it was spread out, but when everyone starts going there like that, someone comes up behind. There are people who get scared when they see it because their master's right and left hand are there, so they all start trying to run away from him. But those people catch them where his right hand can see that there are some sleeping girls there who he thinks that they could become quite good, especially Irel. This guy turned out to be a coward. Anyway, after that, the girl starts doing some and begins to swing it around, which the guy tells her to throw up towards Sora. So she throws it up, she throws it away, and as soon as she throws it, the same green light starts coming out there, which had turned all the people on Earth into stone, after which Emerald's all friends become stone. But Kuha asks her that if those people had turned to stone, then how did she survive? So then she tells them that when those people were turning to stone and she was about to become one too, the light froze right in front of her, after which she jumped into the water and got away from the thing they had taken away. The thing those people claim is actually their master's bloodline. I was coming near Dan, but when his friends were becoming stones there he wasn't a master, so that's why she became his wife and went with him to the glass cutting place in which she needs their help. Hearing her talk, Senak begins to say that it seems they have some rule for this, as if she has a restraint, and if it is thrown with a rope, then that means the thrower can also become a stone, and any part that has turned into stone, you can cut away from it to escape. After which she asks him whether he had said that the master's people would come to take, right? She says yes. In their village, it is a custom that every year the master's people come and pick some girl from the village. Listen, even if she is married, it doesn't matter. Brother, the master's power is different, and those people go to every village and take 1 or 3. When girls hear, they bring it. So that's why she became the cutest girl in the village, so that she could hear from people, after which she went there, and she thinks about finishing all this by bowing to the master, but she cannot do it alone, because she is not a girl who can fight. So they say that she will need help, and then she asks them where on earth she will find a girl who can go with her and fight them. Upon hearing this, they look toward Kuha. When they look, she says that it just means she will have to become cute. Hearing this, everyone is surprised, so Kuha teaches them a lesson. But then, everyone starts trying to make Kuha beautiful. First, Emerels gives her a new dress so that she can change and start trying it on. But even if she goes there, Sanak doesn't have the things to fight them, so they will need a lab for that, which is on the ship. So everyone goes to see it. They go to where their ship has been taken and see someone leaving. So they ask if that is the same master. Then Emerel says no. He is even younger than he is actually the minister who discusses with the master and gives orders. People could say he is the second ruler whose name is Ibarra. He looks at that boat and is very impressed, and he says to Kir-sama that there are some things in that ship they cannot understand, so he thinks he intends to destroy them. But hearing this, Ibarra gets angry at him and cautions that all of this will be decided by their master. Then, when they all start breaking their statue, Kook sets out to go there, but just then Krish comes and asks her what she is doing. When she sees that she is in a fighting stance, she goes over and starts fighting, but Koha can't really fight her because of her dress, so she suddenly shouts that she needs the lab. Upon hearing this, everyone, she is surprised, but in the same breath, Ashagiri says that she was talking about the soldiers because she cannot live without. Hearing this, she too thinks that maybe she is one of those girls who are very possessive, so upon hearing Hearing this, she tells Kuha the same. Yes, she was right. Saying this, she grabs Sena, kisses him on the cheek. Of course, seeing this, Kirishima Sharma leaves the place. After she leaves, Kuhaku begins to tell them that she is sure that there certainly will be some. Then we look at the time where it was actually Kiri, same who, seeing them, she had smashed the mirror and turned everyone to stone. But at the same time, Ria had dried up. He was pushed off the ship from there with a shove, and at the same time, Gin was in the water. So as soon as he sees the light, he quickly goes into the water. But when the light doesn't stop there, he thinks, I went. But then she stops right in front of him, and after he goes into the ship, he sees that all the stones have formed along with his brother, seeing whom one becomes very emotional. And because there is no one there, when he starts to come, she counts again and hides. And when in the present, she hears him cooing and shouting. That's when she turns toward him. Seeing him start to wave his hand, Kuhaku says that maybe he can see some. So Sen takes out a telescope and looks where. They see him and get stunned. But the others here, upon hearing some noise, come to see. And Ibara, seeing those things, realizes that something has moved there. So he sets out to see it when a sound comes from below, and they all go to look where they see those goats and also some vegetables. We also see that it is the same needle. That becomes very excited to help the others. But from there, Jinro starts to get out quick, but then he stops and begins to think that he is alone now, isn't he? So maybe he should help the others. So then he takes his brother's body and rushes to jump into the water. But then he hears some noise and sees that there is also Suka who is there. Or she jumps and starts drawing everyone's attention so Ginro can run away with the lab. So as soon as he sees it, he goes and lifts the lab up, and just then the needle pulls out its melon and runs away. After which, he goes inside and brings out that lap that can even operate in water. So the needle runs it and brings everyone up from there. But when they arrive here, the people fall. Where those people hear that, because of the night, they didn't see it properly. So those people think that maybe if someone had passed by hearing this, they would understand that they haven't been discovered, which means they could all run away. But they can't run away right now because that would require using a lot of oil, and they would realize that this is not a real human that was made. So when Sink looks around him, he notices some flowers, which are jasmine used for scent. So he takes them and mixes them with some chemicals to make a bad smell. When he makes it and throws it into the exhaust, they don't like hearing that at all, and immediately Asha panics. He makes a sound and runs away quickly from which convinces them that it must be some kind of animal. But here, when the people tell this to Ibara, he looks at the track and becomes a little suspicious. But then they all remove their tracks, make a different track, and go out from them, passing the sea into a cave where they find an empty space where there is no one. He could go, but in the meantime, Ibara there doesn't believe because she hasn't seen him with her own eyes, and until she sees him, she won't trust. So he orders his army to search all around the villages. But here, Koku begins to ask them whether she still needs to go to the beauty contest. Just then, Emerald comes and says yes, it's necessary. So for that, Senk makes her beautiful. To make it work, she first tries to improve his hair. She makes a shampoo and washes it, but it doesn't work at all. So she makes another shampoo that does work, after which she mixes some chemicals and creates makeup products for him. And when Emerald sees him, she becomes very impressed. But as soon as she finds him here, Kohaku slaps her in the face, where she looks very dangerous. And then Emerald treats her kindly, does makeup where she becomes very beautiful, after which Emerald gets even more motivated and does makeup on the other boys as well, when they don't look good at all, but they want someone who looks asleep and whose voice is also a bit sleep. And here, there is only one person who comes into this house, and that is him. Then the next day, when they come to smoke the boys, they all stand in line, and just then Ibara takes hold of that married woman. When her husband goes out to attack on the other side, Emerald comes and stops her, saying that they are going inside to do something, so there is no need to worry, they will save her. After that, Ibara asks Emerald to introduce herself. She tells about herself very cute, and on hearing that Ibara chooses her, then he comes to see the others as well, where he asks Kuku to give her intro, which she does with great difficulty. But because she is cute, Ibara, he listens. But then Matar's right hand comes there, and seeing him, simply tells him that he knows that she is strong and that he actually likes girls like her, so he will certainly come to meet her occasionally. And then Haku says okay, if he is thinking about the fight, then she is ready. Then comes Jinar's turn, where he deliberately starts acting like he is not good at all, but Ibara sees his cuteness and chooses him, which leaves the guy troubled. Then after all that, they all start going to the master's house where the real action begins. It will happen. And here Sink also gets ready for this, and they all make a plan to carry out their plan, to execute. But Agri sees there that there is no machine there, so then Sink tells him that not much is needed for this, and they don't even need any battery. It runs like this. So he tells Sayaste if he throws it, it reaches Kuku, and as soon as she wears it, Asha, wanting to give her a cute little post as a signal, asks her, which makes her start thinking about how she could do that. Then she remembers Suika's post and makes a post like hers, which, when seen, no one else can understand any. And seeing it, Asha is very amused. But the same Kuha warns her, which scares the person a lot. After which she talks about Kiri-sami. She's not the kind of girl who will just give that thing to anyone, and she only gets distant when he throws it at her. So they plan that when she throws it, they will catch it. Then, when everyone is about to reach the master's house, the three of them begin to talk about their plan, where Cuckoo becomes a bit overconfident, but then Senak messages her that now they have split into two groups, the spy team and the science team. So they will first see when the two crushes separate, after which he'll show him something and force him to throw it, after which the science team will catch him in midair. Hearing this, they can't understand how he'll do it, so then Senak tells them that it's time to make something amazing, and that is a drone. Hearing this, everyone is stunned, and Agra asks how he can do that, because it requires a microchip, right? He replies that they don't need to worry about. First, he just needs one bead, so he lets Sayas take out a wire on which he winds coal, wrapping a tape around it and running electricity through it. He shows how it can become a magnet, after which he binds two things to copper, and by running electricity through them, he creates the first motor, which astonishes everyone who sees it. But Ashikari becomes worried because she knows now they will have to wrap it around him again. Then that team master. They reach the place where Abara goes to tell the master something, and here the boys have to look at the power of their army before reaching where they break a stone that is actually a man who had been turned into stone and had come to bring his daughter. Seeing this, Kuha asks Emerald to give her a little time, so she uses her cunning vein to guard and capture Dion. And on that occasion, Kuha slips away from there, and she starts to come back looking toward the master's base. But here she starts coming into the crash, so they start running cause Kuha still hasn't arrived. But at this time, she comes and says that she has found something quite good, but now they will just have to tell others this. But just then, when Gin starts talking to them, she starts getting beaten by the master. Then here, Senko's team builds a Y car to run a test, but the moment she sees it, Agri gets an idea. And after that, Sinak, he goes up to him and says that he's been keeping some siege face for him, after which he throws that car there, which has no remote. It just walks around, and while walking, it reaches Koha, so she grabs him and takes him inside. Then she starts thinking about how all this will work. So then Kasagar tells them that if they get into trouble, they can send an SOS at that rate, and he can phase them with tail. Hearing this, Kinro at that very moment, I remember where he saw Jinar learning Japanese letters, and then he went to learn them too. So when Imralas says that it just means they should write it down and send it, hearing this, Jinar gets worried because he had given up very quickly on the stranger. Then Kuha gives her clothes as a sort of message for them, after which Suvika catches her and brings her back. But when they see Kuha's message, they can't understand it, and seeing it, Senk gets upset and takes it to Agar. She comes to catch, but those people don't understand the message from the kitchen when they see it, and seeing it makes them anxious. So they give it to her, where he starts explaining to him that he used science. Then they begin solving his messages one by one, and then seeing it, Senak understands that it was written there that they have found Plat, and as soon as this is discovered, they get motivated that now they can revive all the members of the science team. After that, at night, Kwak goes to retrieve that treasure, but she sees that if something is sealed with a stone-like seal, then Senko guesses it must be concrete, because you can use that same seal to preserve a seal for thousands of years. So Senko mixes some chemicals and makes a silent bomb that can easily break that concrete. Then they put it in a car and hand it to them to set it off. And when here they start talking about their cars, Emerald S stops them and says that they are practicing a dance that she goes to show them. Hearing this, everyone becomes very happy, and in that moment, Koha takes those things out. So he calls Sinak and tells him that first he will have to make a hole in concrete. But while doing this, a sound starts coming. So to draw their attention, Jinar takes his spear and begins to dance with, which they watch and really enjoy. But here, Kuhaku makes many holes, and on them, she pours a chemical, which she leaves down there in the floor and sometime later at night, when she comes there, she sees that the concrete has completely broken. So she begins to take them out slowly, but then a piece falls, making a sound as if everyone else hears it. But here she looks inside and finds only some sand there, but she thinks it might be of some use. So she takes it out and brings it, and when the guard comes to see it, they see that it has broken. So they think it must have happened on its own, after which Kohaku takes it to Fez, gives it to a woman who brings a needle. And when they first see her, they think she might be some kind of saint. But Sanak realizes that she is not just some saint. And then he starts looking there, and one by one begins to take out some sleeping things that are platinum. And seeing that they understand that his dead relative had actually collected all this nearby, which maybe he worked very hard. When Asha heard all this, she was disheartened, and he tells her that she and his death is the same. But then he tells them that actually he is not blood related to. Hearing this, they ask whether that wasn't his real death, and he says no. He had told him that he was the child of his friend's death. After which he gets back to his work, but meanwhile, Abara goes to the place where Kuku he had taken things out and began to look where he found a strange mirror which he had found on that ship. And then he angrily says that there is a traitor among them. Then Sank uses that motor to build a machine where they can make a miracle fluid. After which Agra says that he still hasn't figured out what this is, but he knows that this is something they would even fight, as Sank himself made it with his own hands. And then everyone gets excited to revive all their friends and to bring that beam that makes the stone into their hands. With that, this video ends here.